Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Voyage. The Age of Speed begins with the Robbery of Nami. Chapter 41. Don't run. Fire. Boom. Shells fell one after another around the warship. Water jets exploded. Marine on the warship turned blue with fright. Colonel Mouse was jumping up and down. Keep shouting. Faster, faster, faster. A warship is a warship after all. The manufacturing level is much higher than the 3 pirate ships of the money pirates that were all stolen. Sailing speed is also much faster. The warship wanted to run away, but the 3 pirate ships of the money pirates were unable to catch up. As time went by, they were pushed further and further away. However, List did not give up the pursuit and hung far behind the warship. Follow them all the way to the Marine 16th branch base. Colonel Mouse, that pirate group followed us to the base. What should we do now? A Marine said with his legs weak. When Colonel Mouse heard this, his expression suddenly changed. He gritted his teeth and said, "It's too embarrassing to bully others. It's simply too embarrassing to bully others. Rabbits will bite people when they are anxious, let alone humans. Just pirates, how dare they force us as Marines like this, I'm going to fight them." Quote. As Colonel Mouse said, he quickly jumped out of the warship and walked towards the Marine base. Then, the order sounded the alarm and summoned all the Marines in the base. "Colonel Mouse, why did you sound the alarm suddenly?" A Marine lieutenant colonel came over and asked in confusion. "The pirates are about to attack, and you're still asking me why I sounded the alarm? You stupid pig, what else can you do besides eating? Get out of the way." The mouse was furious at the lieutenant colonel. Scold. "Everyone, pull out all the coastal defense cannons. I'm going to blow up all these pirates." "Hi!" All Marines on Branch 16 Marine Base responded in unison. Then, the 4th gate's several-meter-high cannon was pulled out in an orderly manner. "Aim in the direction of the money pirates. Start filling ammo." "Colonel Mouse, everything is ready." A Marine walked up to Colonel Mouse and saluted. The mouse glanced at the 4th gate cannon. A hint of regret flashed through his heart. The 16th Branch Marine Base originally had 10 6th gate coastal defense cannons. Unfortunately, over the years, he secretly sold 10 second gates, leaving only the 4th gate. In the past, if nothing happened, he felt that the 4th gate cannon was enough as a deterrent. Now that something happened, he felt that just the 4th gate cannon seemed a little useless. However, at this time, there was no use regretting it, so he had no choice but to bite the bullet. "Shoot me!" Colonel Mouse screamed and waved his big hand. Bang bang bang. 4 cannonballs were quickly fired and shot towards the money pirates who were still 6 or 7 kilometers away. At this moment, List and Zorro moved. List instantly chopped down 2 cannonballs. Zorro chopped off one on the Black Gold. Another one went sideways and hit the sea next to the Black Cat. A water column of more than 10 meters high exploded. "Aim better, keep firing at me." Colonel Mouse held a telescope and kept looking at the situation at sea. Seeing that the attack failed to achieve success, he was panicked and frantic in his heart and gave the order again. Rumble. 10 rounds were played in a row. Dozens of cannonballs hit the money pirates one after another. However, those cannonballs were either shot down by List and Zorro, or shot into the sea. The money pirates unknowingly approached the coast and landed at Branch 16 Marine Base. "You guys, kill me." List pointed his sword at Marine Base and shouted orders. "Kill." The pirates of the money pirates who had been preparing for a long time, upon hearing List's order, immediately flew off the ship and rushed towards the interior of the Marine Base. The Cat brothers, Johnson and Rocky, are the fastest runners. Run at the front. In just a few breaths, he rushed into the base. Without waiting for those Marines to shoot, 2 Yuan escapes quickly flew towards them and directly smashed a piece of Marines away. Marine in Branch 16 has long been corrupted by rats. It's okay to bully ordinary people. Fight with real pirates. The bloodiness has long since disappeared. For a moment, the pirates from the money pirates were beaten so hard that they ran around in panic and were completely defeated. When List, Zorro, Nami and others walked into the base. "Marine is dead, he is taken down. The battle has come to an end." At this time, Johnson ran over and reported to List. "Captain, we have everyone under control, Marine Base 16. What should we do next? Our Colonel Rat likes to collude with pirates and plunder people's wealth. After so many years, I think I have saved a lot of money. Go search it. Quote. List smiled lightly. Hi, Johnson responded and led dozens of people to search the Marine base. Almost half an hour later, Johnson brought people back. Captain, we found a total of 50 million Baileys in Marine base, as well as food, guns, and some cannonballs. Johnson Way reported. 50 million belly. List raised his eyebrows. In addition to Marine's money, this money also belongs to other people. 50 million miles, not much of it really belongs to Colonel Mouse. With his ability to make money, he only has this little money. If he told me, I wouldn't believe him. Bring Colonel Mouse over here. List said. Hi. Soon, Colonel Mouse was carried over by Johnson. Just throw it away. Colonel Mouse quickly knelt down and begged List for mercy. Spare my life, Grandpa Pirate, please spare my life. No matter what you want, as long as I have it, I'll give it to you. Okay, give me all your money first. List was playful. Money? Didn't all the money have been looted by you? Colonel Mouse looked confused. Stop pretending, Colonel Mouse. I plundered 230 million from Arlong. If you collude with him and plunder the people's wealth, will you have no money? He is a thief and you are an official. When the spoils are divided, you will definitely take the lion's share. He has 230 million, and you must have at least 300 million. Tell me, where did you hide that money? List asked. Arlong, he still has so much money hidden. If he had known. Pirate Master, I really don't have much money left. After all, the money I got is actually needed, provided. Excluding the portion that I had to pay as a tribute, I also had to distribute some to other colleagues and subordinates in the 16th branch. There was not much left that really made me stay. All the money is placed in the commander's room of my base. It must have been looted by your subordinates. What I said is real. Grandpa Pirate, please spare my life. Colonel Mouse begged with sincerity. List looked at Colonel Mouse's sincere attitude and couldn't help but sneer. Colonel Mouse, with your acting skills like this, it would be a shame not to act. Master Pirate, I'm not acting, everything I said is true. If I deceive you, I will die badly. Colonel Mouse said quickly with a grimace. I gave you a chance, but unfortunately you didn't take it. It seems that money is really more important to you than life. But it doesn't matter, I have plenty of ways to make you spit out the money. List said calmly. But he didn't kill the mouse immediately. Instead, he said to Zhangao next to him, Zhangao, I leave it to you. Okay, Captain. Hearing this, Zhangao took a few steps forward, walked up to Colonel Mouse, and slapped him a few times. Stun him, then create a ring and shake it in front of Colonel Mouse's eyes. With some words and actions, Colonel Mouse was quickly praised to hypnosis. Now, can you tell me, how much money have you made over the years? Zhangao asked softly. In addition to cooperating with Arlong over the years, I have also interacted with other pirates and resold some arms from the base. Over the years, I should have earned 560 million. 560 million. Nami next to him couldn't help but gasp. This fool, you deserve to die. Nami made no secret of his disgust towards Colonel Mouse. Where did you hide all the money? Zhangao asked again. Although I earned this money, most of it was given to my superiors. Because without them to keep me safe, I wouldn't have been safe all the time. I kept 200 million belly for myself. However, some time ago, my people needed money, so they took 100 million belly from me. So, I only have 100 million left. I divided them all into 3 parts and hid them in different places. 30 million of them are placed in the base commander's office. The other 30 million were placed in a secret compartment in public toilets. There are another 40 million, which I will bury over there in the garbage dump. Quote. This guy is really good at hiding money. No wonder we couldn't find it after looking for it for a long time. Johnson couldn't help but uttered. Okay, now that you know where he hid the money, go get it back for me. List said solemnly. Hi, Johnson responded. Then he took a group of boys and walked to the 2 places Colonel Mouse mentioned, which took about 10 minutes. Then he came back with 70 million belly. It's just that their expressions are a little weird. Captain, this money seems to have a strange smell. List raised his eyebrows. Said, find a room and put all your money in it. It doesn't matter if it smells weird, he doesn't mind the cheat anyway. When Johnson and others heard this, they didn't find it strange at all and just followed the order. After Johnson and others put all the 120 million into the room, List walked in and walked out quickly. Nami, Colonel Rat is entrusted to you. List glanced at Nami and said. Nokigao, come and kill him. Nami said to Nokigao next to him. What, me? Nochigao was a little panicked. Yes, it's you. Since you have gone to sea, you will definitely see blood, sooner or later. In this case, it is better to let you see it now. Nami said. Then he turned to the pirate boy next to him and said, give me the gun. Upon hearing this, the pirate boy immediately handed Nami the revolver he had just collected. After Nami took the gun, he handed it to Master Noki. Hold it with both hands, aim at his head, slow down your breathing, relax your body, and pull the trigger. Boom, Colonel Mouse was killed by Nokigao. Blood and brain matter mixed together and flowed out. Nuo Chigao, who had killed someone, his head was buzzing and his whole body was in a daze. I killed someone. Nami patted Nokigao's jade back and comforted. You may not be used to it at first, but it doesn't matter, you will get used to it slowly. Nokigao, we can't indulge in killing, but we still have to pass this level. Let's go. List looked at this scene and nodded with satisfaction. Then, he turned around and walked towards the outside of Marine Base. At this time, a breeze came and blew the black cloak List was wearing. If you look closely, you can see that he has a bit of the temperament of a big boss. Nami pushed Nuochigao to follow. Other girls followed closely behind. Captain, what should we do with the rest of these guys? Johnson suddenly thought that there were many Marines in Marine Base who had not yet been dealt with, and he couldn't help but yelled at List's back. Whatever you do with it. List said without looking back. Yeah, I understand. Johnson and others showed a smile. After List and the others walked away, a scream suddenly came from the Marine Base. After this battle, we may be in Marine's sight next, and the journey may become difficult. Are you all mentally prepared now? It is done. Very good, let's keep going. On the vast sea. List, next, should we march directly to the Grand Line, or? Nami asked. Don't rush into the Grand Line yet, we still have an opponent in East Blue. Only by defeating them will we be the strongest pirate group in East Blue. List said with a faint smile. Krieg Pirates, Nami reacted immediately. That's right, first defeat the Krieg Pirates and conquer the East Blue, and then we'll move on to the Grand Line. List smiled. Next, let's find a well-informed island and find out the location of the Krieg Pirates. A well-informed island. Captain, I know this. Johnny said immediately. Yes, if it's something else, we might not know, but we know this very well, Captain. Sayav also said. Okay, then tell me, which island should we go to now? List asked with a smile. Majia Island, where ships come and go. Not only is commerce developed, but there are also many pirates, and bounty hunters like to go there. The best information there. You're right to go there. Johnny said. Besides, it's not far from our place, it's only a 2-day trip at most. Sayav said. Okay, then let's go to Majia Island. At the same time, Grand Line, Naval Headquarters, Marineford. There was a sudden knock on Marine Marshal Sengoku's office. Come in. Sengoku, who was working on the documents, stopped, looked up at the door, and said. Soon, a major opened the door and walked in. Marshal Sengoku, something happened over there at East Blue. Sengoku's eyes narrowed. The major marine who came in actually spoke in this tone. Obviously, what happened was definitely not trivial. Asked, what happened? The marine base of the East Blue 16 branch was breached by pirates. The base commander, Colonel Mouse, the adjutant, Lieutenant Colonel Shanju, and all the soldiers in the entire base were killed. Sengoku's face instantly darkened. What did that pirate group do? Money pirates. There is currently no bounty for this pirate group, but their strength cannot be underestimated. This is their information. The major handed the information to Sengoku. After Sengoku took it, he immediately started reading it. This information records in detail the past and present lives of the money pirates. It started with Captain List taking over the Bloodhammer pirates and reorganizing them into the money pirates. Every major event they experienced was recorded, such as killing Crow and recruiting the Black Cat pirates. Kill Arlong and destroy the Arlong pirates. Moreover, there is a photo of List in the information. It was the scene when he walked out of Marine Base and the breeze blew his cloak. Although List in the photo is still very young, when Sengoku saw it for the first time, 4 words came to mind: Hawkeye exposed. Give it time. Sengoku has no doubt that he will dominate the team and become a headache for Marine. After having this idea, Sengoku continued to look through the information of other members of the Money Pirates. Yes, this information, in addition to List, also contains information about other members of the Money Pirates. Zoro's, Nami's, Nuachigao's, Zangao's, the Cat Brothers, and Johnson and Rocky's. Among them, Zoro's, Nokiko's and Nami's are very detailed and come with photos. They were all secretly photographed on Marine Base. Although, the 16th Marine branch was completely wiped out. However, the camera team was so elusive that no one knew where he was hiding. Naturally, it was impossible to find him and kill him. After Sengoku read the entire information, his face became terrifyingly gloomy. He looked up at the major and asked, "Has your staff set a bounty for them?" "I gave you a reference data. Among them, the captain List set a price of 30 million, the man who shot Colonel Mouse Najigao also set a price of 30 million, and the combat captain Rorinoa Zoro set a price of 10 million. The major spoke. "The offer is a bit low. These guys are so lawless that they dare to massacre all the Marines in the entire 16th branch. This kind of behavior does not take us Marines seriously at all. If we only give a reward of 30 million, others will think that we Marine do not pay enough attention to them," Sengoku said solemnly. "So, what does Marshal Sengoku think is appropriate?" the major asked. "Captain List, just settle for 60 million. The woman who shot Colonel Mouse, Naki Cow, also offered a reward of 50 million. The battle captain of the Money Pirates and pirate hunter Rorinoa Zoro has a bounty of 20 million. In addition, Nami, the little thief cat, will also give you 10 million. Hypnosis Master praises 10 million. The captain of the first team, Johnson, the captain of the second team, Rocky, and the Catman brothers all gave 5 million. Yes, Marshal Sengoku," the major recorded and responded. "In addition to the bounty, do your staff have any other arrangements? For pirates like them who dare to attack Marine Base, we can't just issue a bounty order, but also take the initiative. They must not be allowed to continue to live happily, they must be completely eliminated as soon as possible. Give all pirates a chance to kill the chicken and respect the monkey. Let them know the consequences of attacking Marine Base. What happened in Branch 16 must never happen again," Sengoku said solemnly. "Hi, in addition to issuing a reward order, the staff has already sent a call to all East Blue branches, asking them to immediately notify other bases once they discover the whereabouts of the Money Pirates. Directly form a Marine Joint Column to completely encircle and suppress the Money Pirates," said the major. "Very good," Sengoku nodded. Then he said, "However, that alone is not enough. An ambitious pirate like List would never want to be trapped in East Blue. He will definitely make it to the Grand Line. Loguetown is the road he must pass through. So, wait a minute, you power up Loguetown again and tell Smoker that if the Money Pirates arrive in Loguetown, they must take down the Money Pirates. If I can't take it down, I'll take him to task as Smoker," Sengoku said solemnly. List didn't know it yet, but he had already entered Sengoku's sight. Sengoku also set a reward of 60 million belly. What he didn't even know was that Marine had already made targeted arrangements for him and the Money Pirates. After 2 days of sailing, they had arrived at Majia Island. It's really prosperous here. Boats come and go. There is a constant flow of people. The Money Pirates found a place with relatively few people to park their ship and dock. "We're finally here. This island is very prosperous and there must be a lot of shops." "Nokigao, wait a minute, let's go shopping together. I have so many things I want to buy," Nami said happily as soon as the ship docked. "Okay." Nuachi smiled and nodded. After 2 days of relief, Nochigao finally came out of the murder incident. She was in a good mood and naturally wanted to go shopping. After all, she is different from Nami. Nami has been working hard outside since she was a child and has seen him in every situation, but she has been staying in Coco West Village all these years. Hardly ever came out. Therefore, she is very curious about everything outside. Naturally, I also want to follow along and experience it. List, are you going? Nami looked at List. I won't go. You should ask a few tough-looking guys to follow you to avoid being harassed. List refused Nami's invitation without even thinking about it. Are you kidding me? Going shopping with a woman? How many lives do you have? Really not going? Nami walked up to List and said with a malicious smile. Nuo Chigao and I will buy a lot of underwear then. If you go, you can feast your eyes on it. Are you really not going? List smiled disdainfully. You are all mine. I haven't seen it there. Do I need to go to the store to see it? What if I call Yulin and the others again? Nami said with a disapproving smile. List glanced at Nami speechlessly. If I want to sleep with them, I can sleep with them at any time. You actually want to use them to seduce me? Are you stupid? Then are you going? Nami felt a little crazy when she saw that List was not there. Okay, since you have asked me over and over again, if I refuse again, your face will probably not look good. In that case, let's go. List said helplessly. Then, he turned to the pirates and said, Zhangao, wait a minute, you take people to inquire about the Krieg pirates. Johnson, you stay and guard the ship. Everyone else, move freely. 3 hours later, gather here. Quote, hi, everyone except Johnson's first team cheered. That's right, Johnny, Seov, you two keep an eye on Zoro and don't let him get lost. List gave special instructions. Hi, Johnny and Seov responded at the same time. It seems that the captain also knows the true nature of Zoro's big brother. List, what do you mean? Are you saying that I am a road idiot? Zoro was not happy when List said this. Are you a fool? Don't you have any idea? List glanced at Zoro. It's just that the road conditions are a bit complicated. I'm not a road freak. Forget it, I'm too lazy to tell you. I'm going to see if I can find a good knife on the island. Zoro said, jumped off the boat and walked towards the bustling streets of Majia Island. Previously, List gave Zoro 2 million, and he had never been so rich. So, I wanted to find a good knife. After all, except for Hidao Yamanji, the other 2 knives on his body were of very average quality. Brother Zoro, wait for us. Johnny and Seov quickly jumped off the boat and chased Zoro. Speaking of which, my sword is also very average. How about changing to a better quality sword? Looking at Zoro's retreating figure, List looked at his katana again. This sword was still used when he was in the Bloodhammer Pirates. Picked it up when impressing the merchant ship. He has been using it for such a long time, and not only has the knife not been chipped or damaged, it has even become brighter and brighter. There was also a chill. Forget it, this knife is very easy to use, so I won't change it. List shook his head. List, it's time for us to go. Then let's go. Soon, List left the pirate group with 14 girls. When Zhangao and others saw that List was gone, they naturally left too. After all, he is the one with the mission. Majia Island, a busy street. List, don't, no, who just provoked me shamelessly. Let me tell you Nami, I am very angry now. Soon, the changing rooms in the store were shaking slightly. However, there were too many girls entering the store. The boss was busy greeting these girls and did not notice anything unusual in the dressing room. Almost 40 minutes later, 14 girls each walked out of this store carrying a few bags, and then walked into another store. The same thing soon happened again in the changing room of this store. However, the heroine was changed from Nami to Naki Cow. 3 hours later, the girls had a great time shopping. List also had a great time. The group happily returned to the location of the pirate ship. List when they come back. Zhangao and others have been waiting for a long time. Even if it's Zoro, who has the Lucci attribute. Under the correction of the 2 younger brothers, I returned to the boat early. Oh, Zoro, you're back too. List looked at Zoro who was leaning against the boat drinking, and couldn't help but tease him. What do you mean by this? Are you saying that I am a road idiot? Zoro glanced at List and said unhappily. No, I just praised you for being on time. List smiled and said. How about I go out and buy the sword I like? No, Zoro said a little depressed. The quality of the swords in those weapon shops is not as good as the 2 I have on my waist. Although the 2 knives on Zoro's waist are not famous knives, they were picked out by Zoro from countless trophies after fighting one after another. Although, in the original work, he was easily cut off by Hawkeye using a black knife. However, in East Blue, these two knives are considered high-quality weapons. It is also difficult to meet in general situations. It's normal. Good things are always in demand. It's not easy to buy a sword of good quality that you like. List was not surprised by this. After all, although there are many famous swords in the pirate world, however, there are more people in need. Demand exceeds supply. Under normal circumstances, you can easily encounter famous swords and famous swords. Then, List looked at Jangao. Have you found out the information about the Krieg pirates? Captain, we have already found out. At this time, the Krieg pirates are recruiting troops on Burma Island and are preparing to enter the Grand Line. Zhangao replied. Burma Island, how long does it take to get from here to Burma Island? List asked. It's not very far, only about 2 or 3 days' journey. Nami looked at the map and replied. Well, in that case, let's go meet the so-called pirate Admiral Krieg. Boys, let's go. With a clear goal in mind, the money pirates set sail again. Myanmar Island is not small. It should be considered a big island in East Blue, but there is no country on the island, but it is controlled by a group of mafia. There are probably more than 500,000 people living up there. However, because it is deviated from the main route, the economy there is not very developed. At the same time, because it is the territory of the mafia, a lot of crime breeds there. Almost every day, there is bloodshed. The reason why Krieg recruits troops here is also because of the strong folk customs here. The adult men recruited hardly need to be trained. They can go directly to the battlefield to kill the enemy if given a knife. It saves both time and cost. After 2 days of sailing, the money pirates finally arrived on Myanmar Island. Fortunately, the Krieg pirates have not left yet. As soon as List and others arrived, they saw more than 10 large ships of the Krieg pirates docked at the dock. On the ship, the pirate flag was fluttering in the wind. List looked at the pirate ship of the Krieg pirates. It feels like the pirate ships of the Krieg pirates are much better than the 3 ships they have now. Especially the main ship. Not only is it tall, big and mighty Hawkeye, but the material is also quite good. Although, in the original work, the ship was in tatters as soon as it appeared, and was finally cut in 2 by Hawkeye's knife. But, at this time, it was not like that. List becomes more and more satisfied with it. He felt that such a big ship was worthy of him. Compared with this, money number seems too stingy. Just as List was looking at the Krieg pirates' ship, countless people on the Krieg pirates' ship also looked towards the money pirates. Are you from that pirate group? What are you doing here? Are you going to join our Krieg pirate group? If you want to join our Krieg pirates, you can, but our Krieg pirates are not open to everyone. You must meet the recruitment requirements of our Krieg pirates. Quote. Jin, the captain of the Krieg pirates, let go of his throat and shouted loudly. In his opinion, the Krieg pirates dared to approach them at this time. There is nothing more than wanting to join them, the Krieg pirates. However, at this time, their Krieg pirates group is at its peak, and there are countless newcomers and small pirate groups who want to join their Krieg pirates group every day. They don't accept everyone. Jin made the conditions clear from the beginning. Sorry, we are not here to join you, but to kill you. Upon hearing this, List couldn't help but smile and tell his purpose. What? Everyone in the Krieg pirates group couldn't help but change their expressions when they heard this. They didn't expect it. With the current reputation and power of the Krieg pirates, there are actually pirates who don't know how to live or die running over, threatening to kill them. After the shock, all the pirates in the Krieg pirate group burst out laughing. It's so funny. This group of people must have just gone to sea. How dare you say you want to kill us? Don't they know that we, the Krieg pirates, are the overlords of East Blue? I think that's it. I've never seen their pirate flag, or even heard of it. It's true that newborn calves are not afraid of tigers, and they dare to come and stroke the beards of the tigers of our Krieg pirates. Admiral, do you want to show them some color? At this time, Pirate Admiral Krieg also stood up. He took a few steps forward and looked List over. He showed a cruel smile. Boy, whether you are joking or serious, since you have said such things, there is no way I can pretend it never happened. Boy, you are dead. Quote, young ones, come on. It seems that we have the same idea and want to kill each other. In that case, let's see who can have the last laugh. Young men, bring the boat closer to me. They were not far apart originally, but with List's order, the ships on both sides completely connected. Kill. This time, Zoro finally grabbed the sea position. Taking the lead, he headed towards the Krieg pirates' ship and killed them. Johnson and Rocky followed closely with others. At the same time, some pirates from the Krieg pirates, led by Akin, also rushed to the ship of the money pirates. Zhangao, who stayed behind, immediately summoned all Hypnosis's subordinates and asked them to stop Akin and others. The money pirates, under the command of Django, and members of the 3rd Division such as the Catman brothers, successfully blocked the first wave of attacks by Akin and others. But no one from the Krieg pirates can stop Zoro. Zoro quickly swung his 3 knives, and all the members of the Krieg pirate group were chopped down along the way. Even if a few of them were missed, they were immediately made up for by the sword master who was following Zoro. Soon, Zoro then rushed to Krieg. Krieg looked at Zoro, who looked like a ferocious beast, his expression extremely ugly. There were so many people on the ship, but they couldn't stop him. Let him kill him and force him to take action. In this way, compared with List, who has not yet taken action, although his pirate group has many people, in terms of strength, it seems to be inferior by more than one chip. You bunch of losers, get out of my way. Krieg roared. He grabbed the golden spear and slashed it at Zoro. Zoro held up Krieg's golden spear with his 2 swords. Then, the Hidao Yuan biting his mouth moved towards Krieg's body at a weird angle. Clang! The sharp blade sliced across Krieg's golden armor. It left a deep mark, but it didn't completely break through Krieg's armor. Krieg glanced down at the scratch. A cruel look flashed in his eyes. Withdrawing the big gun, increasing the force and speed, he hit Zoro again. Zoro did not receive this blow, but chose to step back about 10 steps. Boom! The golden gun exploded the moment it touched the deck. Obviously, Krieg's golden gun is not only a cold weapon, but also has the effect of a hot weapon. My ship. List, who had been paying attention to all the battles in the field, couldn't help but scream when he saw Krieg's shot hitting the deck. Although it did not directly explode the deck, it also caused a lot of damage to the deck. Zoro, kill him quickly. Don't let him destroy my ship again. List shouted at Zoro. Hi 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 hi, Zoro said perfunctorily upon hearing this. Don't give me any perfunctory treatment. I'll only give you 3 minutes. If you can't kill him, I'll take action. When the time comes, don't blame me for stealing your opponent. List threatened. Got it. Zoro suddenly became serious when he heard List's words. He is not afraid of his opponent being strong or difficult, but he is afraid that others will steal his opponent. In order not to lose his opponent to List, Zoro decided to go all out. Asshole, this is my big ship. Krieg heard List's words and roared angrily. HMPH, what I like is naturally mine. Not only your ship, but your entire Krieg pirate group is mine. Everything is mine. List snorted coldly. Asshole, kill him. Whoever kills him, I will make him the deputy captain. Krieg yelled angrily. At this time, Zoro quickly came and slashed at Krieg with a violent storm of attacks, forcing him to no longer be distracted. However, his words have been released. The seeds of discord have been sown. The members of the Krieg pirates instantly became more fanatical and crazy. You must know that the Krieg pirates have always only had a captain, chief captain, captain, and no deputy captain. If this time, they can kill List, he will soon become the second in command of the Krieg pirates. It can be said that he is inferior to one person and superior to others. No wonder they are so desperate. After the Krieg pirates stepped up their offensive efforts, the 3rd Division led by Zhangao soon became unstoppable. After all, there are only about 30 members in the 3rd Division. No matter how good hypnosis is, it is difficult for 2 fists to defeat 4 hands for a while. You must know that the number of people attacking them is close to 200. It's quite remarkable that they were able to hold off for so long. At this point, they really couldn't resist anymore. All this was seen by List. So, he moved. I saw an afterimage passing quickly. In an instant, countless members of the Krieg pirates had a red line between their necks. Before they knew what was going on, puff, blood spurted out from their necks like crazy. They finally left the world completely confused. At this moment, List was like a ghost on the battlefield. The enemy cannot be touched. cannot dodge, cannot resist. When you see an afterimage flash past, it means you are dead. Less than a minute, a vacuum zone formed near the 3 ships of the money pirates. Everyone in the Krieg pirates looked at List, who stopped, with a flash of fear in their eyes. List stood there, but they didn't dare to take a step forward. Akin, who was fighting against the Catman brothers, watched this scene and immediately let Baloo get on top. Baloo, hurry up. However, his words had just fallen. List's figure flashed and he came to Baloo in an instant. All I saw was a flash of cold light. A red line was quickly drawn on Baloo's neck. Baloo struggled for a while, but finally fell down weakly. At this time, the entire Krieg pirate group became more afraid of List and did not dare to step forward rashly. Right now, a scream came from the big ship of the Krieg pirates. Admiral Sama, Captain Krieg. Everyone listened to the scream and looked over there. It turned out that at this time, Zoro had already decided the winner with Krieg, and Krieg's throat was sealed with a knife by Zoro. Although Krieg is wearing golden armor. However, there is no protection above the neck. During the fierce battle, Zoro just slashed Krieg's throat open with one sword. The victory has been completely sealed. I didn't expect that I would die here. My dream of dominating the sea has not been completed yet. Krieg covered his throat hard and glanced at Zoro unwillingly. He asked in a breathy voice, "What's your name?" "As the man who killed me, I want to know whose hands I died by." "Roranoa Zoro." Zoro glanced at Krieg and said in an extremely calm voice, "It turns out it's you, pirate hunter." A flash of surprise flashed in Krieg's eyes, and he finally collapsed completely. Captain Jin was struck by lightning. The man he had entrusted his dream to died, and his faith completely collapsed. "Surrender without killing," List shouted at the right time. Surrender without killing. Everyone in the Krieg pirates couldn't help turning their heads to look at Akin. Krieg is dead, and Ajin is their last support. Jin looked at the familiar or unfamiliar faces. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. You all surrender. If it were only him, he would choose to be loyal to Krieg. However, at this time, there are still many people left in the Krieg pirates. Jin cannot harm so many lives because of his own selfishness. That's inconsistent with his character. He who knows the current affairs as a hero. Jin, you will feel lucky for your current choice in the future. The corner of List's mouth curled up slightly. If possible, I actually want to be loyal to Captain Krieg, but I can't lead so many people to death. Ajin laughed miserably, without hiding anything, and explained to List very frankly. Your words make me appreciate you even more, List said with a faint smile. No matter who the captain is, he will never hate a loyal person. The same goes for me. From today on, you are the captain of the 4th division of my money pirates. After saying that, List glanced at the faces of the Krieg pirates. He said again, my name is List, the captain of the money pirates. From today on, you are my subordinates. Hi, Captain List. Following this, the captain shouted. The battle is completely over. List asked Ajin to take a few people to bury Krieg. Johnson was also asked to lead people to bury all his fallen comrades. He himself took Django and Rocky to start reorganizing the money pirates. After incorporating the Krieg pirates, the money pirates are becoming more and more powerful, and there is no way they can go to sea without reorganization. List counted the number of people and found that there were exactly 900 people. Then, he completely disrupted these people and divided them into 4 combat squads. There are 220 people in each squad. The remaining 20 or so people were all arranged by List to the main ship. After all, the main ship inherited from Krieg was really big, and it couldn't be handled by a dozen little girls and a few men. Therefore, a dedicated team is needed to take charge of navigation. Afterwards, List handed over the money to Johnson's 1st squadron. The black gold was handed over to Rocky's 2nd team. Hand over the black cat to Django's 3rd division. In addition, each squadron is also equipped with 2 auxiliary ships. Counting this way, the money pirates have a total of 13 ships. Enough to form a fleet. When List finished reorganizing the pirate group, it was already sunset. That night, come on, let's finish this bull. In the world of pirates, banquets are the easiest way to get closer to each other. After incorporating the Krieg pirates, List naturally hopes that they can be integrated into the money pirates as soon as possible. Therefore, List had people prepare for tonight's banquet early. Before the banquet started, List held up a bowl of wine, looked around at everyone, and said loudly, "Dry." Everyone in the Money Pirates raised their drinking bowls and echoed List. "Do it to the end. After having this drink, we are partners in the same pirate group. The past has ended. No one can bring it up again to cause internal divisions." List reminded and warned. "Hi." All members of the Money Pirates responded in unison. At this time, no one dared to speak out. Otherwise, List teaches them how to behave every minute. "Okay, now, I announce that the banquet has begun. Everyone, eat well and drink well, and you will not come back until you are drunk." List laughed. As the party begins, the aroma of wine overflows. The members of the original Money Pirates and the original Krieg Pirates gradually let go of their prejudices. It didn't take long to mingle. Start calling each other brothers. As the saying goes, you don't follow anyone, you follow minions like them. The captain wouldn't care too much whether they lived or died. Likewise, they will not be too loyal to a captain. List was well aware of this squint, but he didn't pay much attention to it. It's also done. After being defeated in the future, when the subordinates are recruited, those guys will be heartless and follow others to eat the banquet. A banquet. It lasted until late at night and then gradually subsided. List, Nami and Nojiko spent a wonderful night in the new captain's quarters. The next day, early in the morning, List woke up again. Looking at Nami and Nokigao who were sleeping soundly. A smile flashed across List's face. After kissing the two of them on their rosy cheeks, they got up and started their daily morning exercises. He's not strong enough yet. In order to keep everything I have now, he has to become stronger. Only then would tragedy not happen to him. At this time, the 12 girls also woke up early. Practice with List. After this month of practice, their practice has gradually improved. Fully capable of killing people. It's time for them to see blood. List thought to himself after seeing the progress of Chitong and others. After breakfast, List called a native of Myanmar Island who had just joined the Krieg Pirates and was recruited by the Money Pirates. "What is the distribution of power on Myanmar Island?" List asked straight to the point. "Captain, there are 3 major forces on Myanmar Island, namely the Wild Wolf Gang, the Iron Fist Group, and the Vongola family. Among them, the Vongola family is the oldest mafia on the island, said to have a history of 150 years. In addition to these 3 top forces, there are many small gangs and factions in the periphery." The local pirate replied truthfully. "Really? Do you know there are small gangs there?" List did not ask about the top forces, but asked about the small gangs. "I know." The local pirate nodded and responded. "Okay, take me to meet that little gang now." "Hi." The local pirate nodded in response. "Girls, take your weapons and come with me." List turned to the 12 girls who were resting and said. Zoro glanced at List and instantly understood what he wanted to do. However, he did not speak and continued to drink his drink. Hi. Although the 12 girls didn't know what List wanted to do. However, he still obediently picked up his weapon and followed List. "Wait, List, where are you taking them?" At this time, Nami asked quickly. "Take them to see blood. Do you want to go?" List said with a faint smile. "It's bloody. I'll forget it." Hearing this, Nami shook his head. When the 12 girls heard List's words, they were a little panicked. "What, are you scared?" "If you are scared, you don't have to go," List said with a faint smile. "No, Captain, we are not afraid. No matter what happens next, as long as you give the order, we will execute it immediately," Chitong said. Yes, Hill, Yulin, and Shizuka nodded in unison. Other girls followed unevenly and responded. "Then follow me." List smiled faintly. In fact, even if these girls said they were afraid, he would not blame the girl. At most, they will raise her as a vase in the future and will no longer cultivate them with all their heart. Soon, List took the 12 girls off the ship and followed the local pirate deep into Myanmar Island. We walked for almost half an hour. List and others came to a remote place on the outskirts of the city. "Captain, that's where the Little Knife Club is stationed." The local pirate pointed at a dilapidated castle not far away and said. At this time, there were 2 arrogant young men standing guard outside the castle. "Chitong, Hill, I'll leave these 2 to you. 1 for each, okay," List said with a smile. "Captain, no problem." The two said in unison. Very good, whoever kills one of you first, I will give you a gift. Hi, Chitong and Hill suddenly lit up when they heard this. They really want List's gift. For this reason, killing people is completely ignored by them. Chitong, how do you allocate your opponents? How about I control you? Hill said cutely. Okay, Chitong nodded. Then, the two of them flew towards the castle at the same time. Who? The two sentrymen immediately noticed Chitong and Hill when they approached 30 meters away. However, when they saw clearly that the visitors were two pretty girls, they suddenly laughed. I thought it was someone, but it turned out to be two little sisters. Besides, they are two very decent little sisters. These long legs, these breasts, yellow hair, let's have one each. Okay, I was originally assigned to be a sentry, and I felt a little depressed, but I didn't expect that this is a peach blossom from the sky. Lu Mao, it is the right day for the two of us to enjoy the blessing. After seeing Chitong and Hill, the two arrogant guys didn't even bother to pretend. I immediately wanted to capture the two of them so that I could enjoy them slowly. But I never thought that Chitong and the others were roses with thorns. He came completely with the intention of taking their lives. When Chitong and Hill were 10 meters closer to the two of them, their speed instantly increased several times. Directly pull out a series of afterimages. Silent instant kill. Whoosh. Chitong and Hill quickly approached the two of them. The katana in his hand was instantly unsheathed. Puff. A cold light suddenly appeared. A red line suddenly appeared on their necks. Blood spurted out from their necks crazily. The two of them covered their necks hard and looked at Chitong and Hill standing in front of them, with disbelief in their eyes. As time passed little by little, the two finally died completely with strong unwillingness and confusion. Oh, Chitong, who of us was faster just now? Hill asked. I should be faster, Kai Tong said. No, it seems like I'm faster. Hill said. No, it's me, I saw it. Chitong, I'm fast. Forget it, ask the captain, he will definitely know which of us is faster. Chitong said. Good. At this time, List came over with everyone. Chitong, Hill, you two did a good job. I didn't expect that you have already practiced the silent shunpo and sword drawing skills to this extent. Not bad. As soon as List approached, he immediately praised the two of them with a smile. List developed many moves, but he didn't keep them to himself. Instead, he let everyone on board learn them. Zoro was able to kill Krieg so quickly yesterday. In addition to being very strong, Silent Shunpo also took some credit. Because he also studied. Although he joined the Money Pirates for a short time, his physical fitness is very good, and his talent is even better. He has mastered the Silent Shunpo training in just a few days. Although Chitong and Seal are not as good as Zoro, they have been carefully trained by him for such a long time. At this moment, their brilliance finally bloomed. Chitong and Hill were very happy to receive List's praise. However, at this time, they wanted to know more about which of the two of them defeated their opponent first. After all, this is about the gift List gave. They all care about this. Captain, tell me, who defeated the enemy first between me and Hill just now? Chitong asked. Yes, Captain, which one of us will defeat the enemy first? Hill also looked at List with wide eyes. List looked at the two of them expectantly. I couldn't help but feel funny. At this time, it is not good for anyone to take sides. Therefore, List smiled lightly and said, you two should be considered as defeating the enemy at the same time. Whose gift is it? Hill asked. One for each person. List laughed. Okay, thank you, Captain. After hearing this, the two of them thanked Li Si with joy. Although this gift was not considered unique, they did not care. As long as List can give them gifts. Who are you? The noise coming from outside the castle soon attracted the attention of the mafia gangsters inside the castle. A few mafia gangsters came out to see what was going on. Chitong and Hill have completed their tasks. Now, it's your turn, List said to the other girls next to him. Hi, Yulin rushed out immediately. Her silent shunpo seems to be better than Chitong and Hill. The speed was so fast that the mafia couldn't react at all, and suddenly the cold light appeared. The knife rises and falls. Several mafia gangsters who came out to see the situation were cut down directly. Sister, you killed everyone, so what certificate do we need to practice? Jingxiang looked at Yulin with a cute expression. There are more inside the castle. Yulin said naturally. After hearing this, Shizuka walked towards the castle. The other girls saw this and followed suit. From time to time, inside the castle, there were not only bursts of screams, but also the sounds of gunshots and fighting. However, soon, silence returned. It didn't take long. Shizuka and all 9 girls came out. Everyone was covered in blood. 2 were even shot. Fortunately, no harm done. He was helped out by 4 girls. How's it going? Is it okay? List walked up to the girl who was shot and asked with concern. The bullet did not hit the vital part. The sisters have simply bandaged us. We can hold on until we return to the ship for treatment. One of the girls who was shot showed a strong smile and smiled at List. Yes, another injured girl next to her also nodded. Ku Chang said, "It doesn't matter to us. You are stronger than I thought, yes. Let's go back." List gave a compliment. No more raiding the mafia's lair. He took the girls directly back to the pirate ship. List, you are finally back. Something big happened. When Nami saw List coming back, he immediately greeted him and shouted in a panic. What happened? List glanced at the pirates around him. They didn't seem to be too panicked. He thought it was not a big deal, so he sent the 2 injured girls down for treatment first, and then asked Nami. We are being rewarded. Look, this is our reward order. Nami said, directly handing a dozen bounty orders to List's hand. List took it and looked at it. The first one was his reward order. Looking at the photo on the reward list, I smiled with satisfaction. To be honest, this photo is really good. The artistic level is at least as high as 3 or 4 floors. The photo looks nice, but don't you see how many Baileys you have been rewarded with? Nami said a little speechlessly. Let me count. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 60 million. The first bounty was actually 60 million. Sengoku is quite generous. Quote. List was a little surprised. In fact, as early as after wiping out the 16th branch, he knew that he would soon be wanted and have a reward on his head. However, he didn't expect that Sengoku would raise his reward so high. However, although it was a bit unexpected, it felt reasonable. After all, he led the money pirates to destroy a marine base. It would be abnormal if Sengoku didn't express anything. In addition to you, Nokigao was also offered a reward of 50 million. After Nokigao saw his bounty, he fainted from excitement. Nami said, 50 million. List's face changed slightly. Save your bounty for last. The second reward order belongs to Nuo Chigao. No Chigo. Crime. Shooting Colonel Marine. Bounty. * 50 million. No matter life or death. When List saw the crime, he finally understood why Nokigao's bounty was so high. Nami, it was you who asked Nokigao to kill Colonel Mouse. Nogiko's bounty is as high as it is now, and it has nothing to do with you. List joked to Nami. So, I regret it. Although Nokigao didn't blame me, I always feel sorry for her. Nami said, almost crying but without tears. Okay, as long as I'm here, even if she has a bounty of up to 50 million belly, no bounty hunter can get close to her. List comforted Nami. In this regard, what else can Nami say? She can only place her hopes on List. Later, List looked at several other reward notices. Except after him and Nuo Chigao. Zoro has a bounty of 20 million belly on his head. Nami and Jangao were offered a reward of 10 million. Johnson and Rocky also had a reward of 5 million on their head. Plus Ah Jin's reward of 12 million. 8 of their money pirates have bounties on their heads. 6 of them have a reward worth over 10 million. This kind of lineup is the only one in East Blue. Just when Nami was still worrying about the bounty. List is planning to use this opportunity to hold another banquet. Hey guys, we finally have a bounty. From today on, our money pirates are no longer an unknown little pirate group. As a captain, I am very happy. Today we will continue to hold a banquet to celebrate that our money pirates have finally become famous all over the world. Quote. List said loudly to all the pirate boys. Long live the captain. All the younger brothers cheered when they heard this. HMPH. Zoro's mouth curled up slightly. Although there was a reward on his head, he was in a particularly good mood at this time. There's really nothing I can do against you. Nami looked at this scene and completely fell flat. Let it be what it is. When the sky falls, a tall person will hold it up. She was too lazy to care. At the same time, the money pirates' bounty order also spread throughout the world as the newspaper birds continued to spread. In East Blue, countless people saw the newspaper offering a reward and were in an uproar. They gathered in small groups and started discussing. Many people realized that East Blue is about to change. Cibro Village. Ms. Kaya, something serious has happened. Melly hurried into the garden with a reward. The garden holds so many beautiful memories for Kaya and List. Nowadays, Kaya always comes to the garden when she has nothing to do. In her free time, she also plants some flowers herself. Hearing Melly's shouting, Kaya, who was planting gypsophilia, stopped and looked at Melly. What happened? So panicked. Something big happened, Miss Kaya, look. With that said, Melina took the reward list and newspaper in her hand and placed them in front of Kaya. After Kaya saw List's reward order and the series of numbers, she was stunned for a while, then showed a happy smile and said, List is finally going to be famous in the world. But, this is a reward order, and he was directly rewarded with a reward of 60 million for the first time. Moreover, it is said that he is wanted for destroying the marine base, so next, both marines and bounty hunters will target him. Quote, I believe he will be fine, Kaya said with a faint smile, then picked up List's reward order and looked at it dreamily. I haven't seen him for many days, but he is still so handsome, and he has a hint of hockey. Coco West Village. It's over now. Both Nokigao and Nami have bounties on their heads, especially Nokigao. She actually has a bounty of 50 million. Oh my god, I'm scared to death. The crime for which she was offered a reward was for shooting Colonel Marine. I just read the newspaper and it said that the 16th Marine base was destroyed by the money pirates. Not a single Marine on it escaped, and all of them were killed. Isn't the Marine 16 branch the branch where the mouse colonel who colluded with Arlong belongs? So, Nami and Nokigao chose to attack Colonel Mouse and Branch 16 in order to completely solve our worries. That's how it should be. Hey, these two children, Nami and Nokigao. Although Nami has been put on a bounty, she has been hanging around outside since she was a child, so she should be able to withstand it. However, this is her first time going to sea, and a bounty of 50 million has been placed on her head. I don't know if she can withstand it. I hope Nokigao won't be frightened by the amount of the reward and faint. And List, that kid, clearly promised me before that he would protect Nuo Chigao, but as a result, as soon as she came out of the sea, a reward of 50 million was placed on her head. He has betrayed my trust in him. I will definitely deal with him the next time I meet him. Aegean said, very unhappy. Well, he blocked it for Nami. East Blue Loguetown. List, I didn't expect that a ruthless person like you would appear in East Blue. Even Marshal Sengoku called me personally to ask me to focus on you. I hope you won't disappoint me then. Quote, Smoker held a knife to List's bounty and muttered to himself. Grand line. Alabasidan. List, I didn't expect that another talent would appear in the weak sea of East Blue. I just don't know if you can be used by me. Anyone who is not used by me will be destroyed by me. On a certain red pirate ship. Lord Snake G, this is today's newspaper. Snake Girl Boa Hancock glanced at it casually and threw it directly into the trash can. New World. Dressaros. Fufufufu, is there a new member from East Blue? It seems that he still has a bit of a strong temperament. Moby Dick. Kulalala, Hockey is exposed. Although he is still very immature, he has begun to take shape. I hope he can enter the new world smoothly. Wanokuni, Ghost Island, Hockey exposed. He's still young. Kaido took one look, threw away List's reward order, and continued drinking. Red number. Hockey exposed. I just don't know if you can grow up. A genius who has not grown up is useless no matter how much potential he has. Ben Beckman muttered to himself. Beckman, what are you looking at? Come over and drink. The redhead shouted. It seems like another great guy has appeared in East Blue. Beckman said. Oh, who is he? Hong blushed from drinking and came over to take a look. List, the bounty is 60 million, which is really a lot. What did this guy do? He was actually offered a bounty of 60 million for the first time. Red Hair asked with a smile. It seems like a marine base was destroyed. Beckman laughed. Yes, quite capable. The red-haired man smiled disapprovingly. Speaking of which, Luffy will almost go to sea at this time. Yeah, soon. Okay, no more chatting, let's continue drinking. Myanmar Island. List and others are still having a banquet to celebrate the appearance of the reward order. In a building in the city. Someone took a look at the reward order from List and others. He picked up the phone and made a call. Marine. Yes, this is the Marine 19 branch. What do you want? I heard that you are looking for the whereabouts of the money pirates. Yes, do you have information about the money pirates? They are on Myanmar Island now. Myanmar Island, are you sure? Sure, okay, if your information is correct, after we confirm it, we will send you the reporting fee of 500,000 yuan within a week. Is it convenient for you to disclose your address? Quote, there is no need for reporting fees. After the man finished speaking, he hung up the phone. After a blind tone of hang up came from the phone bug. Marine answered the phone and immediately reported the situation to the police. Soon, all Marines in East Blue, except Loguetown, were mobilized. Chapter 51. The party continues. List drank a lot. Many people came to toast him, but he did not refuse anyone who came. Put down your airs completely and mingle with everyone. After such a long time of contact, everyone gradually got to know List. As long as there are no special circumstances, List is still easy to talk to. At the banquet, everyone gradually let go of their awe for him. There is no scruple in bragging and spanking. Captain, there's a situation. Many warships appeared on the sea. Suddenly, a voice came from the watchtower of the big ship. The originally popular banquet was in vain. List stood up suddenly. Walked towards the bow of the ship. Telescope. Yulin quickly found a telescope and handed it to List. List took the telescope and looked towards the sea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. Good guy. A total of 32 warships formed an encirclement network, completely blocking the entire sea surface. They are heading towards the money pirates. Seeing such a scene, List couldn't help but gasped for a moment. Stop eating. The Marines have surrounded us. Pack your things quickly and take action. We have to break out. Otherwise, sooner or later, we will be wiped out by these Marines. List yelled. All the pirates in the money pirates were busy in an instant. In just a few minutes, everyone was in their place. Set sail. List, in which direction are we going to break out? Nami asked nervously. Do you still have to choose? Of course, break out towards the middle. List didn't even think about it. But Marines elite are all in the middle. Nami said speechlessly. Lousy fights the elite. List sneered. Since he dared to attack him, no matter what, he had to retaliate somewhat. Otherwise, others will say he is rude. Bringing Commodore. The money pirates seem to have discovered us and are rushing towards us. Should we take action? Quote. Did the money pirates enter the range of the cannon? Already entered. Then it's really time to take action. Naval Headquarters attaches great importance to this operation, and they must not be allowed to escape. Commodore of Division 77 is the highest-ranking Marine among the Marines who are encircling and suppressing the money pirates this time. Therefore, he is also the person in charge of this operation. After saying this, he directly shouted, Fire! Fire! Boom! 32 warships fired their guns at the same time. For a moment, the sky was full of cannonballs shooting towards the money pirates. Overclocking mode. List instantly entered the overclocking state. In an instant, the world became crystal clear to his vision. Everything seemed to slow down. The flight trajectories of those cannonballs are under List's control. At this moment, List moved. I saw him turn into a stream of light with a whooshing sound. Passed by 13 pirate ships. Wherever he passed, he split all the cannonballs that might hit the ship. The cannonballs cut in half fell into the sea like dumplings. It's indecent to come and not go back. Fight back. List said coldly. Fire! 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 The officers on each pirate ship followed suit and shouted. Boom! Suddenly, the cannons on the 13 pirate ships also began to fire. Moreover, they all fired towards the middle of the encirclement net. Let me. This short and thin man wearing a gray tunic suit and sunglasses stood up. Sickle tornado. I saw the man's palms clenched into sword fingers, and he was waving them continuously. Soon a tornado was born in vain. swallowing up all the shells that bombarded it. Boom! Cannonballs exploded inside the tornado. Apart from making the people on the warship feel the wind was very noisy, it did not affect anyone on the warship. Good job, Eric. Admiral Nelson Roy of the 8th Marine Branch praised loudly. Eric is his mercenary. Eric's meritorious service is equivalent to his meritorious service. Of course he wants to promote Eric. Good job. Bryn Bolin on the warship next to him also nodded in affirmation. It actually blocked it. List raised his eyebrows. Tornado. Is it the one with the sickle fruit ability? At this time, both sides fired again. List moved at super speed again, knocking down all the incoming shells. At the same time, observe the other party carefully. Sickle tornado. At this time, Eric repeated his old tricks again. Throws out a tornado, swallowing all the cannonballs fired by the money pirates dozens of meters away from the warship. You noticed that Eric used the sickle fruit ability to draw the power of the wind to attack, and you noticed the rhythm of the wind. You understood the flying slash from the rhythm of the wind. After you understand the flying slash, you start to recall the hot-blooded anime you watched in the previous world. You have understood the crescent moon celestial chong. You have understood the cross slash. You have understood the wind of trouble. Boom. At this time, both sides launched a new round of shelling. List came back from a sudden burst of inspiration and a super epiphany. Thousands of troubled winds. Looking at the shells fired again, List suddenly swung his knife. The wind is drawn everywhere. Finally, a large tornado was formed. Keep all cannonballs out. Everyone in the Money Pirates was stunned for a while. Especially Zoro. He always feels that List's move has an inseparable fate with him, which is wonderful. Strange, why do I feel this way? Suddenly, why do I feel like I am living in the shadow of List? On the warship, Ikeli looked at List's move that was somewhat similar to a tornado, and his pupils suddenly shrank. What's going on? Does he already know this move, or did he learn it from me? Boom boom. Both sides fired round after round. But the shelling after round failed to achieve any success and severely damaged the opponent by half a point. The Money Pirates have List here. There is Eric on the other side of the warship. The bombardment lasted for a long time, and I felt lonely. However, the distance between the two sides is constantly shrinking and getting closer. At this time, there was less than 100 meters between the Money Pirates ship and the warship of Bryn Blin's Marine 77 branch. At this time, the warships on both sides no longer dared to continue firing. Because it is easy to accidentally injure teammates in the middle. Zoro, watch the fleet. I'll cut a way out. List said to Zoro solemnly. Understood. Zoro nodded. Moonwalk. Moonwalk is Marine 6 styles. Although List does not have the training method for this move. However, he knows how to practice shaving in Marine 6 styles. In an instant within 0.36 seconds, he stamps on the ground dozens of times at high speed to generate explosive reaction force to move at high speed. He was able to do this within a few days after getting the Kue fruit. Later, after List developed the overclocking mode. So he used the overclocking mode and developed the move of walking in the air based on shaving. List didn't bother to give this move a new name, so he just called it Moonwalk. List jumped up from the bow of the ship. Stepping on the void, he quickly flew towards the warship. Moonwalk. A pirate can actually moonwalk. Who taught him? What is his background? Quote, Bryn looked at the flying List, feeling both surprised and shocked. However, he did not forget about business. He shouted loudly, everyone shoot him. Wow. The Marines on several nearby warships pulled up their guns and aimed at List, shooting indiscriminately. Bang bang bang. For a moment, countless bullets were fired at List rapidly. At this time, List is still overclocked. Those bullets were clearly visible in his vision. Those bullets slowly flew towards him with ripples. As he flew towards the warship, he quickly swung his samurai sword and chopped off all the bullets fired one by one. After a round of gunfire, List has arrived at the warship where Bryn is. There was no time for Marine to reload her bullets and continue shooting. The knife suddenly swung down. Thousands of troubled winds. Boom. A tornado suddenly appeared. It rolled up all the Marines on the warship deck and flew outward. Bryn Commodore is not very powerful. In the original work, before he even met Arlong, he was taken care of by a group of minions under Arlong's command. At this time, he was also the first to be swept away by the wind of List's troubles. Ah, Eric, save me. Bryn Bryn flying in the air shouted in panic. Eric did not act immediately, but looked at his employer. If his employer, Marine Branch 8 Admiral Nelson Roy, didn't nod, he wouldn't take action. Help, Nelson Roy said. Saving Bryn Bryn would make him owe him a favor. Good things like this don't happen all the time. Nelson Roy naturally would not miss this opportunity. Hi, Eric responded. With one leap, he jumped from the warship of the 8th branch to the warship of the 77th branch. Catch Bryn Bullen falling from the sky. Throw it directly onto the warship of Marine Division 8. Have 2 Marines catch him. The Commodore was stunned. Nelson Roy smiled and said, bringing Commodore, this time, you owe me a favor. Okay. Vice Admiral Bryn Bryn nodded and acknowledged the favor. On board a warship of the Marine 77 Division, List and Eric stood facing each other. Butcher List, you are also demon fruit power, Eric said leisurely after looking at List. Because, List commanded the pirates to massacre all the Marines in the Marine 16 branch. Therefore, Marine gave him the gangster number of Butcher. To be honest, List doesn't like this gangster account. When List heard Eric calling him this bandit name, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows and said solemnly, compared with bandit names like the Butcher, I prefer others to call me Speedy List, or Quick Sword List. If it doesn't work, call me List. My handsome List can do it too. Super speed, Kue sword, are you the Kue Kue who ate the Kue Kue fruit? Eric raised his eyebrows. Who knows? List didn't have time to chat slowly with Eric. After saying these words, he disappeared instantly. Step forward and chop. When List appeared again, he had already arrived in front of Eric. The katana in his hand slashed at Eric quickly and hard. Eric's expression suddenly changed. He didn't expect List to be so fast. Instinctively, I wanted to duck to one side. However, poof. List's katana had fallen on him, slashing from his left shoulder to his right abdomen. Blood spurted out from Eric's body like crazy. Ah! Eric screamed. Fall down directly. Nelson and Bryn Bryn on the 8th branch warship looked at this scene and their expressions suddenly changed. Originally they thought Eric could compete with List. Even if he couldn't defeat List, he could at least hold him back. Let them look for opportunities to take down List. As a result, unexpectedly, Eric fell directly in just a moment. Eric, you loser, stand up quickly and knock down this butcher. Nelson Roy yelled in shock and anger. As I said, I don't like the gangster name Butcher. From now on, call me Godspeed List. After List corrected one sentence, aiming at the warship of Marine Division 8, he suddenly swung his sword. Crescent moon clashes. A flying slash of more than 10 meters long shot out and sank directly into the warship of Marine Branch 8. Poof! Directly cut the entire warship into 2 pieces. The next moment, seawater poured into the warship crazily. The warship quickly sank in the sea. On the New Money, Zoro watched this scene and immediately said, all pirate ships break out from this gap. Hi, List saw that the pirate ship was about to break out. Of course I want to help. His eyes scanned the deck. A few baskets of unfinished shells were quickly locked in. He walked over, picked one up, weighed it, and after getting familiar with the feel, he threw it at a nearby warship. Boom! The shell exploded instantly upon strong impact. It directly blew off the mast on that warship. After that, cannonballs were shot out of List's hands one after another. After receiving the blessing of Kue Kue fruit ability, those shells are very fast. The explosion caused the surrounding warships to flip over and run around with their heads in their hands. The 13 ships of the money pirates also passed through the gap in an orderly manner and slipped out of the encirclement. Seeing that all the pirate ships had escaped from the encirclement, List no longer stayed on the warship. He carried Eric, who was chopped down by his sword, and walked back to the New Money on the moonwalk. List, you're back. When Nami saw List coming back, her hanging heart was completely relieved. Came back. List nodded and said loudly, young men, although we have escaped the encirclement, we are not safe yet. Marine will catch up at any time and continue to speed up. Hi, all the pirates responded in unison. Then, he controlled the pirate ship, increased its power, and fled towards the vast sea. If there is anything left to eat, bring it all to me. After List released the overclocking state, he shouted to Michelin and others. Even though he hasn't turned on the overclocking mode for a long time. However, the intense rounds of exercise and fighting just now left List extremely exhausted. Need to be replenished as soon as possible. Otherwise, problems may arise after a while. Yes, Captain, please wait a moment. After hearing this, Michelin and the 12 girls immediately entered the kitchen and took out all the meat that had not yet been eaten during the banquet. Put it in front of List. List was not polite and started eating directly. After devouring hundreds or even thousands of kilograms of meat in one meal, List finally breathed a sigh of relief. Restored to its full glory. List, why did you bring this guy here? After List had eaten and drank, Nami pointed at the half-dead Eric on the ground and asked. I want to do an experiment. List glanced at Eric and said with a faint smile. Doing an experiment? What kind of experiment? Nami asked with some confusion. This guy has demon fruit power, so I brought him back and killed him again to see if devil fruit would be reborn near us, List said. Is there such a thing? Nami was surprised. The chance is low, but it's not impossible. Devil fruit actually has its own will. We humans choose devil fruit, but in fact, devil fruit is also choosing people who are suitable for it. If anyone on our ship has a fate with this devil fruit, it should choose to be reborn near us, said List. Devil fruit actually has a will of its own. When everyone on the boat heard this, their eyes were opened for a moment. Then, what should we do next? Nami asked again. Go, bring a few boxes of fruit, some of all types. Also bring a big bathtub over. List said to Michelin and several other men. It is more convenient for men to do rough work like this. Hi, Michelin walked towards the warehouse with a few colleagues. Soon, they brought in several boxes of fruit and a huge bathtub. This kind of large bathtub can be used by people even 3 or 4 meters tall, which shows how big it is. List ordered someone to pour half of the fruit into the tub. Then put Eric in the tub. Then List killed Eric completely with a single blow. Finally, add a layer of fruit to him, completely submerging him in the fruit. Is this the end? Nami looked a little confused as she watched List operate. I have never heard of this method of cutting off devil fruit, and it has no scientific basis at all. The rebirth of a devil fruit is not like turning into a seed, then taking root, sprouting, growing vigorously, and finally bearing the devil fruit. It directly parasitizes into a fruit, and then slowly changes that fruit into the form of devil fruit, eventually forming the new devil fruit, explained List. That's it, Nami suddenly realized. How long will it take to wait? I don't know the specific time. How many minutes? Or it could be an hour. List said. We'll come over and have a look in an hour. If we don't find the devil fruit, then we can only say that it doesn't know where it was reborn. Our experiment failed, List said with a faint smile. An hour? That's pretty quick. Nami nodded. Then he asked someone to bring a piece of canvas to cover the bathtub. List, how do we go next? Where do we go? Nami asked. Nami is just a navigator, she can only decide how to go along the way. As for the destination, only List can decide where to go. Next, of course we have to enter the Grand Line, List said solemnly. The Krieg pirates have been defeated and incorporated by them. Their bounties are also out. List has 60 million, Noki has 50 million, Zoro has 20 million, Akin has 12 million, Nami and Zan have 10 million, Johnson and Rocky have 5 million. The total bounty offered by all the members is almost 200 million. Today, they are truly the strongest pirate group in East Blue. East Blue is too small and obviously not enough for them to deal with. Now it's time to enter the Grand Line. Grand Line, got it, Nami nodded. After the Money Pirates defeated the Krieg Pirates, they received all the legacy of the Krieg Pirates, including of course the Krieg Pirates nautical charts. After hearing List's words, she naturally knew what to do next. Grand Line, I heard that is the cradle of the strong, I'm really looking forward to it. Zoro's eyes flashed. Going to the Grand Line, Zoro is also looking forward to it. After an hour, the Money Pirates completely escaped Marine's pursuit. The tense minds of everyone in the Money Pirates finally relaxed. Nami looked at the time and said, "It's almost time, List, isn't it time to reveal the answer?" "Then expose it," List said without any psychological burden. It would be best if you can intercept the devil fruit. No, the money pirates only lost a few boxes of fruit. No, it's not a loss either. Because, even if the betting is more than the dead, the pirates in the pirate group don't care at all. If you give it, they dare to eat it. As long as it can enter the stomach, how can it be considered a loss? Yulin, lift the canvas. Nami said. Hi. Hearing this, Yulin walked over and lifted up the canvas covering the big bathtub. The situation in the bathtub came into view immediately. They didn't seem to find any particular fruit. For a moment, Nami had a little hope. However, I was not too disappointed. After all, this is just the most superficial layer. What happens next, you have to read it to find out. You guys go and look through it. If there really is one, whoever finds it will get it. Nami said with a smile. Okay. Chitong and others heard this and walked over immediately. Rummaging around in the big tub. He didn't care at all that there was a dead person lying in the big bathtub. The 12 girls searched for a long time. Suddenly, there was a special fruit in Chitong's hand. What kind of fruit is this? Does anyone know it? Chitong held up the strange fruit in his hand. List took a closer look and saw that this was the devil fruit. He actually intercepted Eric's devil fruit. You know, even though List did this, he actually didn't have much confidence that he could intercept devil fruit. So lucky. Chitong is so lucky. Chitong, this is devil fruit. It's obvious that it has chosen you. List said with a faint smile. The girls were in an uproar. Everyone looked at Kai Tong with envy. Chitong, you are so lucky. If I had known earlier, I would have changed places with you, Chitong. So envious. Hey hey. Facing the envious and jealous looks of her friends, Chitong giggled. Then, he walked up to List holding the devil fruit. He said to List, Captain, here it is. Didn't Nami just say that it belongs to whoever finds it? I've already eaten the devil fruit, and I can't eat another one. Moreover, this devil fruit chooses to let you find it. Obviously, it is the most suitable for you, and you are also the most suitable for it. You should just eat it yourself. List did not accept the devil fruit offered by Chitong, shook his head and smiled. Hearing this, Chitong turned to look at Nami. Since you found it, then you can eat it. Nami smiled. Although, she felt a little heartbroken about eating the devil fruit directly. After all, a devil fruit is worth at least 100 million. One gulp and 100 million is gone. With her greed for money, how could she not react at all? However, she still thinks it is more cost-effective to eat it than to sell it. After all, only when the strength of the pirate group grows, they will be safer and they will be able to make more money in the future. Only by giving up can you gain. Nami still understands this. When Chitong heard Nami's words, she immediately confirmed that List and Nami really had no other thoughts about this devil fruit. She immediately showed a pure smile, glanced at the two of them and said, Then I eat it. Eat it. List smiled. After hearing List's words, Chitong no longer hesitated and took a bite directly on the devil fruit. When devil fruit entered, Chitong's face instantly turned blue. However, Chitong did not spit it out directly, and even endured the disgusting taste and swallowed the entire devil fruit in a few mouthfuls. Although, many people say that devil fruit only needs one bite. However, List felt that if he ate it completely, there wouldn't be any accidents. Therefore, List did not tell Chitong that just one bite would be enough. Look at Chitong's twisted little face. List couldn't help but recall the situation when he ate the kue fruit, and couldn't help but smile. Unknowingly, I have been in this world for almost 2 months. I have completely integrated into this world. List sighed. Chitong's little sisters looked at Chitong's twisted little face and couldn't help but curiously asked, Chitong, is this devil fruit delicious? It's not that it tastes terrible. It's really terrible. I've never eaten anything so terrible in my life. After Chitong swallowed the demon completely, she couldn't help but vomit. Ah, from now on, if we encounter devil fruit, will we still eat it? Looking at Chitong's twisted little face, I feel a little scared. A girl said innocently. It immediately caused the other girls to roll their eyes. HMPH, you think devil fruit is just Chinese cabbage. You can eat it if you want. You don't even know if you can get one in the future, but you start to dislike it. Huh, I'm just talking. Tell me about it and show that you are capable. That's about it. Shut up. At this time, List interrupted the quarrel of several girls. He looked at Kai Tong and said, "Try your ability. Let me see how powerful this sickle fruit is." "Hi," Chitong responded. He picked up his katana and walked to the side of the ship. On the new money, everyone looked at Kai Tong expectantly. Even Zoro. He also wanted to see how strong a girl who had only practiced for a month became after eating a devil fruit. Chitong walked to the side of the boat, slowly closed her eyes, and silently felt the power of the sickle fruit. Then start trying to mobilize this power. I don't know how long it took, but Chitong suddenly opened his eyes. At the same time, he quickly drew out the katana in his hand. In an instant, a wind blade several meters long shot out. Ride the wind and waves. Cut all the way towards the sea. 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. It wasn't until more than 40 meters later that they quickly dispersed. How powerful. Is this an attack from me? Chitong murmured to herself, looked back at everyone, and found that everyone was staring at her in shock. What's going on, everyone? Chitong, you are so powerful. All the girls came to their senses and rushed towards Kai Tong. Chitong was unprepared for a moment and was thrown to the deck by the girl. Is this the scythe fruit? It is indeed very powerful. If it fell into Eric's hands, it would be a complete waste. List muttered to himself. I have to say that he was also stunned by Kai Tong's attack. Is this the ability of devil fruit? I have been practicing for 10 years and I still can't perform such an attack. Chitong, on the other hand, only practiced for a month and gained such strength after just eating one devil fruit. 10 years of practice is not as good as one fruit. So what is the meaning of my 10 years of practice? Zoro was confused for a moment. Zoro's confusion went away as quickly as it came. He is not the kind of person who has no opinion and doesn't like other people's good things. He is very determined. He always believed that as long as he followed the steps, he would one day become the world's best swordsman. After eating the sickle fruit, Chitong's strength increased greatly. It made him a little envious, but if there was a devil fruit placed in front of him and he was asked to choose, he would never eat the devil fruit. After thinking about this, Zoro continued to drink his own drink. However, he was relieved. Chitong stared at him. Captain Zoro, I want to challenge you. I wonder if you are interested in accepting my challenge. Chitong looked at Zoro with a fighting look on his face. You want to challenge me? Zoro was slightly startled. That's right. Chitong nodded. Zoro looked at Chitong's persistent eyes. It was as if I saw myself. As a child, I was obsessed with challenging Kuina. Now obsessed with challenging List. Now Chitong seems to be on his old path. Targeted him. Zoro didn't resent this. Grinning. Okay, I accept your challenge. With that said, he stood up and walked towards the middle of the deck. Everyone, give them a place to fight. List did not stop the two from fighting, and said with a faint smile. Everyone retreated to the side. Make room for that space in the middle of the deck. The deck of the new money is huge. Enough for 2 people to toss. The two stood facing each other. Zoro said, let's start. Kai Tong did not hesitate after hearing this and directly attacked Zoro. Silent instant kill. Whoosh. Kai Tong disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Zoro, and he drew his sword and swung it decisively towards Zoro. Boom. Zoro comes first. One hand pressed firmly on the handle of Chitong's knife that had not been completely unsheathed. Make Chitong unable to draw the sword. Chitong's expression changed slightly. Without any hesitation, he missed a single hit and immediately ran away thousands of miles away from Zoro. Wind mark. Chitong stood a few meters away from Zoro, swung his sword, and saw a slashing wave more than 1 meter long sweeping towards Zoro quickly. Tiger hunt. Zoro unsheathed his 3 swords instantly. Use all your strength to attack the flying slashing wave. Boom. Chitong's slashing wave was instantly blasted away by Zoro. Transformed into a rebellious air current. Whoosh. After Zoro smashed Kai Tong's flying slash, he disappeared instantly. But it was he who used the silent shunpo to fight back against Kai Tong. The 3 swords struck at Kai Tong quickly and urgently. Chitong's face showed an unprecedented seriousness. Instinctively, he waved the katana in his hand to resist Zoro's attack. However, he soon fell into passivity and was led by Zoro. In the end, Zoro's katana was knocked away by a violent wave of attacks. Clang. After the red-eyed warrior flew in the air for a while, he stabbed hard into the deck and shook. Zoro stopped. Not bad, Zoro commented after taking a look at Kai Tong. Devil fruit can greatly increase your attack power, but the basics are also very important. Otherwise, how can you kill people if you can't even hold the sword? Zoro is right, Kai Tong, although the sickle fruit increases your strength, the foundation is also very important. In the future, don't put all your thoughts on developing the fruit ability. You should also focus on your physical fitness and basic swordsmanship. Get promoted, List said. Hi, Chitong responded. Then, he bowed to Zoro again. Thank you for your advice, Captain Zoro. You're welcome. Zoro sheathed the knife. Then he turned and walked towards the side of the boat, ready to continue drinking his drink. Chitong looked at Zoro's back and said, Captain Zoro, today's challenge is just the beginning. I will continue to challenge you in the future until I defeat you. In the future, I hope you will still give me some advice. Chitong's eyes were firm and persistent. If Zoro at this time regards List as a target to defeat, then Zoro himself has become the target that Chitong wants to defeat. When Zoro heard this, he paused slightly and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. I'm always with you. After a challenge, everyone returned to their original appearance. Do what you have to do. Before you know it, a few days have passed. This day, the money pirates finally reached Loguetown. Loguetown serves as the last supply station for East Blue. All pirates who want to enter the Grand Line will choose to stay here for a while. Replenish all supplies. The same goes for the money pirates. Captain, we have sighted Grow Town, shouted the lookout on the observation deck of the New Money. The lookout was neither Johnny nor Seov. Johnny and Seov have been laid off since New Money added a group of professional sailors. Really? List stood up and walked to the bow of the ship. He took a look at the telescope handed over by Yulin. It's definitely Loguetown. Wait a minute, after the ship docks, the third and fourth teams will stay to guard the fleet. The first team and the second team cooperated with Michelin and Schindler to complete the supplies we needed. It is not advisable to stay ashore for a long time this time. Once you have finished your business, you will be back soon. Do you understand me? Said List. Hi, all the pirates responded in unison. Soon. The money pirates landed in a remote place. List was the first to get off the boat with Nami and other girls. Then, Zoro also took Johnny and Joseph to get off the boat. Afterwards, Johnson and others disembarked from the boat and swarmed into Loguetown like fish. Johnny, Seov, you two are interested in Zoro. Come back as soon as you buy the weapons. Don't let him wander around outside, List said to Johnny and Seov who were beside Zoro. Johnny and Seov nodded quickly in agreement. But Zoro was not happy to go. He felt that List was mocking him. Since you think time is tight, why did you take them off the boat together? Zoro glanced at the girls around List and replied to List. I'm the captain, I'm happy to do it, so what? List said casually without any special explanation. The captain is amazing, Zoro said unhappily. Yes, the captain is amazing, List replied. HMPH, sooner or later, I will definitely defeat you, and then leave your pirate group. Zoro said unhappily. HMPH, let's wait until you defeat me, List said disapprovingly. If nothing else, Zoro may not be able to defeat him in this life. Zoro may never be able to leave the money pirates in this life. Okay, that's almost it, let's go. Seeing that Zoro was still preparing to go online, List waved his hand and left with Nami and others. Seeing this, Zoro had no choice but to swallow everything he wanted to say, and left with Johnny and Seov. List, what should we buy next? Nami asked. When they were on Majia Island, they bought a lot of things. There is no shortage of items a girl needs these days. Of course, it's not impossible to buy the previous batch now. However, List obviously did not bring them to buy these things. Go buy the hands used by Grand Line. I just don't know if they are available in Loguetown, List said. Buy hands. Are the hands used by Grand Line different from the hands we use at East Blue? Nami asked quickly. Yes, the weather on the Grand Line is worse than that in the East Blue. The hands used there are specially customized and completely different from the ordinary hands we use in the East Blue, List said. Thankfully you mentioned it now, otherwise we would be in trouble when we enter the Grand Line. Nami said happily. Don't get too happy yet. I don't know if Grand Line hands are sold in Loguetown yet, List said. There should be a place as big as Loguetown, Nami said in anticipation. I think so too. No matter what, you have to look for it carefully, List said. Yes, Nami nodded. Afterwards, everyone went to the shops in Loguetown and asked if there were any Grand Line hands for sale. Unfortunately, they asked more than a dozen stores, but none of them sold Grand Line hands. Just when List and others were frustrated, a store owner showed them the way. Let them go to an older store to have a look, and it may not be certain that they will gain anything. For a moment, List suddenly understood. Then I took Nami and the others to those stores that looked older and had less traffic to inquire about them. At the same time, Marine in Loguetown seems to have discovered the money pirates and entered Loguetown. Knock knock knock. Marine base, there was a knock on Smoker's office door. Come in. As soon as the Marine who knocked on the door opened the door, a thick smoke poured out from the room, making the Marine choke and cough, and his eyes watered. It's just a cigarette, what do you think? If you have anything to do, tell me, and if you don't, get out of here. Smoker glanced at the Marine and said with a bit of a grumpy temper. Report to Colonel Smoker. We found traces of the money pirates in Loguetown. Then Marine quickly saluted and reported. Are these fools finally here? When Smoker heard this, he immediately became energetic. After the combined Marine fleet led by Commodore failed to encircle and suppress the money pirates, the news quickly spread to all the East Blue bases. Even Marineford knew about this. How could Smoker, who had high hopes, not know about this? Therefore, he has paid special attention to the money pirates and List recently. During this time, additional plainclothes were constantly dispatched and scattered throughout Loguetown. Now, he finally got the news he wanted to hear. Have you found List the Butcher? Smoker asked again. I discovered it. He seems to be shopping with a group of girls right now, said the Marine soldier. You actually have time to go shopping. That's good enough, Smoker sneered. Where's that guy Tashigi? It seems that Sergeant Tashigi went out to repair his glasses, Marine replied. HMPH, at the critical moment, just drop the chain for me, forget it, don't wait for her. Gather all soldiers immediately. Smoker stood up and said energetically. Hi. Then Marine responded. Take action now. At this time, List did not know that Smoker had taken action. After visiting a few more old stores, they finally found a few Grand Line pointers. Without being polite, List bought them all. I finally bought the Grand Line pointer, and Nami was relieved. The purpose of this trip has been achieved. List and others did not continue shopping and prepared to go home. However, as they walked on the street, they gradually felt that something was wrong. There were almost no people in the streets that were crowded just now. Even if there are one or two, they are in a hurry. After seeing List and the others, he showed a nervous expression and flashed to the side. List, something is wrong. Nami's heart sank and she said to List uneasily. It seems that Marine has discovered us. At this time, they have probably set up a dragnet around us, waiting for us to dive in. List said solemnly. What should we do? Nami asked a little uneasily. There is no other way but to block it with soldiers and cover it with water and soil. List said solemnly. In fact, he is not really helpless. As long as he got into the houses of nearby residents and captured a few hostages. Based on Smoker's character, he should let them go first and then pursue them. However, even List, a pirate, would not bother to use such a despicable method. Okay, don't think too much, let's just move forward. No matter what happens, I will do everything. List comforted Nami. Seeing how confident List was, Nami gradually felt relieved. List and his party crossed this street and just turned into the main street of Loguetown. Then I saw countless Marines waiting there. After seeing the emergence of List et al., the Marines raised their guns and aimed at List and others. Just wait for Smoker's order. They opened fire and killed List and others indiscriminately. Butcher List, I finally caught you, just hang up and take it, you have no way to escape. Once again, I don't like the gangster name Butcher. You can call me Speedy List, Quick Sword List, or even Handsome List, but you can't call me Butcher List. List said lightly. There is no sense of urgency like facing an army. Also, let me explain one more thing, I didn't want to escape, Otherwise, I wouldn't walk on this street. This Loguetown is connected in all directions, and any alley can actually be avoided here. Quote. Well, so you are very confident in your own strength. Do you think you can leave calmly when surrounded by me and these 1,000 soldiers? Smoker smiled playfully. You can say that, List said lightly. Okay, since you don't want to be captured without mercy, then I will take action myself. Smoker did not give the order to shoot. After all, except for List, everyone else on the other side is a girl. Maybe they were guilty, or maybe they were forced into it. But, no matter what, Smoker didn't want them to die at a young age. White fist. Smoker's arm turned into thick white smoke, condensed into a huge fist, and rushed towards List's location. Crescent Moon Chong. List suddenly swung his knife. I saw a huge slashing wave of several meters shooting out. There was a pop. Instantly broke Smoker's white fist. Go straight towards Smoker himself. Bang. The moment Smoker's body was hit by Crescent Sky, it exploded into a cloud of white smoke. The next moment, Smoker condensed his head, floating in the void, looking down at List. No wonder he was able to fight his way out of the encirclement of 32 warships. He is quite capable. Unfortunately, I am a Logia smoke fruit user. All your attacks are ineffective against me, Smoker said with a sneer. The reason why he said this was not to show off his ability, but to attack List from a mental level. Make him feel scared, make him feel powerless. How could this happen? List was not frightened. But Nami and the other girls were frightened. People were chopped and turned into smoke. It can't be killed at all. What to do? Don't listen to his nonsense. Elementalization is very powerful, but it's not really invincible, List said calmly. Next, let's see how I defeat him. Many people have said such things before, but now they are all thrown into the deep-sea prison by me. You won't be an exception either. Quote. Smoker sneered. These years, there are many pirates who don't take him seriously. But, in the end, those people fell into his hands. East Blue serves as the weakest sea. As the Logia demon fruit power, he is simply invincible in this sea area. Based on his observations, List should not have learned hockey. He really couldn't understand List's confidence. I am the exception, List also sneered. Turn on overclocking mode directly. Buzz. In an instant, the world became clearer in List's eyes, and the movement of everything slowed down. Then let me see if you have the qualifications. Smoker snorted and directly attacked List. White snake. Smoker's arm instantly turned into white smoke, and like a spiritual snake, it quickly attacked List. Whoosh. List gave Smoker a deep look. It moved instantly. This movement is as fast as lightning and as fast as thunder. Within 0.36 seconds, he appeared in front of Smoker. The katana in his hand was swung out quickly. Thousands of troubled winds. Boom. Suddenly a tornado suddenly appeared. Swallow Smoker quickly. Roll it into a ball of white smoke. However, this was exactly what Smoker wanted. At the moment when the tornado dissipated, Smoker gathered his head and controlled the spreading white smoke to drown List. Once List is submerged, he can never escape the shackles of his smoke. List, I have to admit that you have some strength, but your mind doesn't seem to be very smart. You actually helped me spread the smoke. If so, then you will reap the consequences. Quote. List sneered, not taking Smoker's words to heart at all. The figure flashed and appeared in front of Smoker in an instant. He swung up and grabbed the 10 hands from Smoker's back at some point, and smashed them towards Smoker. The 10 hands are made of sea stone, the most restrained demon fruit power. In the past, Smoker relied on this 10-handed weapon to defeat countless demon fruit powers. But he didn't expect that it would be taken away by List. Used against himself. My 10 hands. Smoker's expression suddenly changed. No, these are my 10 hands. List grinned coldly. Boom. 10 hands struck Smoker cleanly. It was directly smashed dozens of meters away and fell in front of the Marine Army. Let him be severely embarrassed in front of all his subordinates. Colonel Smoker, are you okay? A Marine soldier asked concernedly. Smoker glared at him angrily. Does he look like he's okay now? Target Butcher List, fire at me all. Smoker said coldly. Bang bang bang. For a time, countless bullets were fired at List. List waved the katana in his hand and chopped off all the bullets fired one by one. Then, with a whoosh, Smoker appeared in front of him again. He waved his 10 hands and swung it directly. Smoker's face changed slightly. He was about to dodge, but before he could dodge, he was blown away. With a swish, List appeared in front of Smoker again the moment he fell to the ground, putting his 10 hands directly on his throat. Colonel Smoker, you lose. List sneered. Smoker was slightly startled. I didn't expect that I would lose so quickly. What do you want? Smoker asked coldly after coming back to his senses. Tell your soldiers to get out of the way for me. List said solemnly. What if I say no? Smoker responded forcefully. I will kill you without hesitation, and then kill all your soldiers before leaving leisurely. No need to doubt whether I have this ability, you have already seen it. Quote. List said solemnly. Okay, I'll ask the soldiers to let you go, but you can't hurt anyone here. After a moment of silence, Smoker chose to compromise, but there were conditions. You are not qualified to tell me the conditions, but I still agree to you. Because I am not a real murderer. There is no reason why I won't kill people casually. List laughed. If the Marine 16 branch was still there, your words would be more convincing. Smoker sneered. If you know what they did, you know why I want to kill them. List said. No matter how reasonable you are, I can't agree with what you did. Smoker said coldly. I don't need your approval. List said disapprovingly. Smoker, I've talked to you enough and I'm too lazy to continue talking nonsense with you. Tell them to get out of the way. Everyone, get out of my way. Smoker didn't refuse and shouted loudly. When the Marine soldiers heard this, they immediately gave way to the road. Colonel Smoker, please come with me. List stepped back and let Smoker get up. List then put his 10 hands behind Smoker's back to prevent him from elementalizing, and then held a katana to Smoker's neck. He led Nami and others through the path Marine moved away from. Smoker looked at the soldiers on both sides of the avenue and watched them pass. At this moment, he couldn't help but think of the scene 22 years ago when Rob walked onto the execution platform in front of everyone. However, the original Rob was like the return of the king. But at this time, he felt an unprecedented shame. While I secretly hated my incompetence, I also completely remembered List. Smoker has actually been going smoothly over the years. I have never felt so frustrated as today. List was the only one who suffered such a setback. It was hard for him not to remember. List takes Smoker as a hostage and walks a few hundred meters. Suddenly, they noticed that there was a figure in front of them, blocking their way. Colonel Smoker. But it was Tashigi. Tashigi had just come out of the optical shop. At first, he was a little surprised. Why did Loguetown, which was usually very lively, suddenly become so quiet? No one could be found. After walking around in confusion on the street, I came here unexpectedly and saw this scene. Tashigi. Smoker was speechless for a moment. If you don't come early, you won't come late, but you come here at this time. What is this going to do? Colonel Smoker, what's wrong with you? Tashigi was also a natural idiot, and his reaction was a little slow. At this time, he didn't understand the situation yet, so he asked stupidly. It's so obvious why you need to ask. I've been kidnapped. Step aside. If you want to know what's going on, ask the soldiers behind you. Smoker said very unhappy. Where's Nami? Tashigi was startled at first, then glanced at Nami and others, and said, Did you kidnap Colonel Smoker? Put him down quickly. Colonel Smoker, don't worry, I'll rescue you right away. This girl is quite interesting, she made me laugh. List, standing behind Smoker, smiled. Chitong, go meet her. Hi, Kai Tong has learned List's true heritage, and will never act blindly if he can do it. Once on the field, just use the silent shunpo and rush towards Tashigi. Although Tashigi clamored to save Smoker before. But, in reality, she wasn't ready to fight. To be more precise, she was not ready to receive Chitong's attack. When Chitong appeared in front of her, she reacted belatedly. In a panic, he held up Shiger to block Chitong's blow, but was knocked back several steps by Chitong's blow. Why did you take action without saying a word? I'm not ready yet, Tashigi shouted displeased. However, what greeted her was not Chitong's explanation, but Chitong's knife. The moment Tashigi retreated, Akoao used the silent shunpo to bully him again. With one powerful strike, Shiger Xiaoya flew out of Tashigi's hand. Then, he placed the katana between Tashigi's neck. You lost, Chitong said lightly. You don't follow martial ethics. Tashigi's face turned red with anger and he was very dissatisfied. I don't have any martial ethics here, only winning or losing in life and death. Kai Tong said lightly. Tashigi still wanted to talk back, but Chitong said coldly, shut up, you are my prisoner now. If you don't want to be killed by me, just shut your mouth obediently. Tashigi struggled for a while, and finally chose to give up arguing with Chitong and accept the reality of being captured. What a little idiot. Smoker opened his mouth. He originally had a lot to say, but he finally summarized it into a few words. Brilliant. List laughed. Then he led Smoker and continued to move forward. When he walked to Tashigi, Tashigi apologized to Smoker very guiltily. I'm sorry, Colonel Smoker, I lost the fight and couldn't save you. I don't blame you. Really. Tashigi, who expected to be scolded, suddenly looked at Smoker with a little surprise. Really, because I never expected you to rescue me from the beginning. Smoker said. Tashigi was struck by lightning. It suddenly became sad. Colonel Smoker never expected me to save him from the beginning. She kept chanting this sentence. It seems that your words had a big impact on her. List laughed. I'm telling the truth, Smoker said coldly. I believe it. You are a straight man. List smiled faintly. What are you going to do with Tashigi? Smoker ignored List's words and asked directly. She doesn't affect your departure, why not let her go? That's not possible, she has a brain problem. If I let her go, who knows what she will do next? It's better to take her with you. Chitong, take Tashigi with you. Seal brings Tashigi's Saya Shiger. Quote, Hi. Chitong and Hill responded at the same time. Akatomi led Tashigi and List together, while Hill walked to the side, picked up Xiaoya Shiger that Tashigi had just released, put it into the scabbard, and returned to the team again. Everyone continued to move forward. This time, List and the others went smoothly, and no one stopped in front of them or blocked their way. Almost 20 minutes later, they finally returned to where the fleet was. The captain is back. Everyone in the Money Pirates exclaimed as they watched List kidnap Marine back. He was ready to go to support, but he was stopped by List. Don't come over here, don't get off the boat, everyone is in position and ready to set sail. List said. Hi. Everyone on the pirate ship responded in unison, stopped one after another, and began to prepare for setting sail. Is everyone here? Are Zoro and the others back? List asked again. Everyone is here. Captain Zoro is back too. The pirates shouted. At the same time, Chunin couldn't help but sigh. The captain really cares about Captain Zoro. Don't ask anyone else, just ask him. List, you guy, don't underestimate me. I can walk back even with my eyes closed. Do I need you to remind me 3 times? At this time, Zoro couldn't stand still and stood up and shouted unhappily. Aren't I worried that you won't be able to come back? Haha, just come back. List laughed. Nami, you get on the boat first. Good. After Nami and others responded, they got on the boat first. Chitong, let him go. After Nami and others got on the boat, List said to Chitong, and also let go of Smoker. Thank you for your cooperation along the way, which saved me a lot of effort. You should not attack me again next time. List looked at Smoker playfully. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. This time we were defeated in your hands. You didn't kill us. We accept your love. We won't take action before you set sail. As for what happens after that, that's another matter. Smoker said coldly. Vocal channel. Be particular. List smiled faintly. Don't be complacent. Sooner or later, I will definitely arrest you and send you to the deep-sea prison. Smoker said coldly. Stop bragging, you are no match for me. Chitong, let's go. After saying that, List prepared to board the ship with Chitong. Etc. At this time, Tashigi suddenly stopped the two of them. What, you still have something to do? List glanced at Tashigi. At first, List thought about kidnapping Tashigi directly on the ship, but after thinking about it later, he decided not to do it. After all, at this time, his money pirates had no shortage of women. One more Tashigi is not too much, and one less is not too little. Moreover, if he kidnapped her on the ship, Smoker would definitely fight him to the death. Although he was not afraid, he did not want to fight again before entering the Grand Voyage. So, let her go today. In the future, if we encounter him again, it will not be too late to capture him. Where's my sword? Give me back my Koya Shigur. Tashigi said. Your sword, I'm sorry, you lost to Kai Tong, so Xiaoyi Shigur has become Kai Tong's trophy. If you want the sword, you can take it back from her next time after you defeat Kai Tong. Come on, List said with a faint smile, and then boarded the boat with Chitong. Bye, Smoker. Next time we meet, I hope you can become stronger. Otherwise, it would be meaningless if you fall down in a few seconds. List said to Smoker. Smoker snorted and didn't answer. List smiled faintly and stopped teasing Smoker. Shout to all the pirates, set sail. Smoker and Tashigi stood there blankly, watching the money pirates' fleet go away. I haven't come back to my senses for a long time. At this time, several Marines came over. Colonel Smoker, Sergeant Tashigi, are you okay? Well, I can't die yet. Smoker came back to his senses and said a little depressed. Next, should we pursue the money pirates? At this time, a student said. He is the second in command of Loguetown Marine Base and Smoker's deputy. I also know Naval Headquarters' attitude towards List, so I ask this question. Are you good at fighting? Smoker glanced at the lieutenant colonel. 32 warships failed to keep him alive before, but now, I only fought with him for less than a minute and was defeated by him. Now you are chasing me to seek death. Then how should we report to Marshal Sengoku and the others? Lieutenant Colonel Marine said with a grimace. Don't worry about this matter, I will handle it myself. Smoker said solemnly. Hi. The lieutenant colonel saluted Smoker and then left. After Smoker sighed, he glanced at Tashigi beside him who had not yet recovered, patted her head and said. That's pretty much it. Isn't it just a famous sword? When I'm free that day, I'll help you get one back. Is that so? But that's Xiaoya Shigur, it's different from other swords. It followed me for 10 years. It has never left my side since I got it when I was 8 years old. Now, it has become someone else's. I feel sad when I think of it being used by others in the future. Smoker said it was okay. As soon as he said it, Tashigi couldn't help crying. I don't know if that Kai Tong knows how to maintain a knife. I don't know if she will use it to kill good people randomly after getting Xiaoyi Shigur. It's so pitiful that Xiaoyu Xie fell on her hands. Tashigi said crying. Quote. Smoker was speechless for a while. If it weren't for him and Tashigi having known each other since childhood. If it weren't for Tashigi, he would be sad right now. He really wanted to curse. Women are just hypocritical. After thinking about it, Smoker comforted Tashigi and said. Then practice hard and try to defeat Chitong as soon as possible. In this way, you can not only win back Xiaoyi Shigur, but also win back the dignity you lost before. Hey, I get it. I will definitely work hard to practice and try to defeat Chitong as soon as possible and win back Xiaoyi Shigur from her. After hearing Smoker's words, Tashigi quickly became full of energy again. Gone back, Smoker returned outside the office, picked up the phone, and reported to Sengoku what had just happened. The result is no surprise. Smoker was scolded bloody by Sengoku. A full 2 hours later, Sengoku just hung up the phone. Smoker let out a long sigh of relief. Leaning on the sofa, recalling today's fiasco, his eyes gradually became firmer. The strength is still not enough. It's time to pick up the practice that has been abandoned for a long time. Marineford. After Sengoku hung up the phone, he also fell into deep thought. Smoker's defeat in this battle was due to his personal reasons, but the bigger reason was List himself. Super fast List. I still underestimated him after all. I didn't expect that he could defeat Smoker in less than 2 months since his debut. If he is allowed to continue to grow, he might become another troublesome figure for Marine. Next, how to deal with him. Sengoku thought for a long time in the office, but could never think of a suitable way to deal with List. Sending Admiral to attack would simply be an overkill for attacking mosquitoes with cannons. Send Vice Admiral. Although there are many Vice Admirals in Naval Headquarters, it seems that few are free, and they are probably not very willing to accept such a task. As for Rear Admiral, Colonel and the like, forget it, let him enter the Grand Line first and let a few Shichibukai take care of him. If that doesn't work, we will think of other ways to deal with this guy then. Time flies. A few more days passed. After coming out of Loguetown, the money pirates set out directly for the Grand Line. After several days of sailing. At this time, the 13 pirate ships of the Qian pirates had approached Upside Down Mountain. Here, it is shrouded in dark clouds all year round. The wind is strong, the rain is strong, and the waves are strong. If you are not careful, you will end up with the ship destroyed and people killed. At this time, all the 13 ships of the money pirates were alert and carefully maneuvered the ships, approaching the entrance to the Upside Down Mountain. We've found it. Where is the entrance to Upside Down Mountain? Everyone, move the boat that way. The boat behind, follow me. Under the command of Nami and the operation of a group of professional sailors, the new money sailed into the entrance of the Upside Down Mountain without any danger. Then, riding the wind and waves, following the soaring countercurrent, it rushed towards the sky. After that, one pirate ship after another followed into the entrance of Upside Down Mountain. But, faintly, List still heard bursts of screams. List knew that among the 13 pirate ships, it was impossible for all of them to sail smoothly into the entrance to the Upside Down Mountain. There will definitely be shipwrecks and casualties. However, at this time, List couldn't care so much. You can only take care of the money number first. Or even others, only after arriving at Twin Capes successfully. Take it slow. The red line is soaring into the clouds, and the money boat also goes straight to the top of the clouds. After reaching the highest peak, it follows the water flow and enters the downhill slope. With the rolling torrent, a pool of ocean finally rushed into the Grand Line. List stood on the money ship and looked around. He didn't see Laboon, the whale that hit the wall, nor Crocus, the ship's doctor from One Piece. Looking at the past, the sea is vast except for the red line, the water rushing down from the peak, and the other ships of the money pirates. Nothing more. List doesn't care. Before he was in Loguetown, he had never made a pilgrimage to Roger's execution platform, and now he had no intention of making friends with the Pirate King's ship's doctor. Without some scenes in the original work, he would not be disappointed. List set his sights on the exit of Upside Down Mountain. Watching the pirate ships rushing out with the torrent. 1 ship, 2 ships, 3 ships, 7 ships, 9 ships. After the 9th ship rushed out, it took a while, but no more pirate ships came out. List understands. It seems that 3 pirate ships crashed. Report on the situation of each division. List said to the captains of the 4 major divisions. Captain, the 1st squadron lost a pirate ship and 65 people were killed. Johnson said in a somewhat depressed mood. The 2nd squadron lost 1 ship and 58 people were killed. Rocky was similar to Johnson, feeling a little depressed. The 3rd team and 3 ships all passed smoothly without any losses. Zhangao said. The 4th squadron lost 1 ship and 67 people were killed. Akin said in a hoarse voice. After everyone heard this report, there was a moment of silence. Did not expect. Just by passing through one entrance, 3 ships were destroyed and 15,000 people were killed. The price is a bit too high. Okay, don't look depressed. We have entered the Grand Line. We have accomplished what countless people in East Blue have failed to do. We should be happy. Others can be frustrated, but List, as a captain, cannot. He could only encourage everyone. Find bright spots among disadvantages and encourage everyone. Sure enough, after everyone heard List's words, their emotions quickly recovered. Nami, did the pointer react? List asked. Yes. Then let's go. Towards the first island of the Grand Line. Roar. Everyone roared together. The money pirates set sail again with anticipation and excitement. Red line, on the lighthouse. A look came down. Looking at the money pirates going away, he murmured to himself, another pirate group has entered the Grand Line. It seems to be coming from East Blue. It seems to be called the Money Pirates. I hope you can create the next legendary story that belongs to you in this sea area. The Money Pirates. Since leaving Twin Cape, I was quickly taught a lesson by the Grand Line weather. The weather here is ever-changing, with dark clouds, wind and rain, and huge waves. After a while, the temperature soared to 40 or 50 degrees. After a while it started to hail and snow heavily. In just 2 or 3 hours, more than a dozen different climates took turns. Everyone in the Money Pirates was tortured terribly. Even List felt a bit overwhelmed. At this time, the money pirates are continuing to move forward despite dark clouds, wind and rain, and huge waves. With Nami's command, although the fleet looked a little embarrassed, it was still safe and sound. Suddenly, the Hope hand on the Hope stage shouted, "Captain, there's a situation ahead. There's a small boat coming towards us." Telescope. List's expression changed, and he quickly asked Yulin to bring a telescope. After taking the telescope from Yulin, List immediately looked in the direction pointed by the observer's hand, and soon saw the situation on the other side. I saw a middle-aged man on a square boat that was not very big and resembled a coffin. At this time, he was rowing the boat desperately with a black samurai sword. Obviously, facing this kind of weather, the middle-aged man on the boat could no longer maintain his elegant demeanor. We can only row desperately to prevent the boat from being sunk by the huge waves. Seeing this scene, List couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. Because he had recognized the identity of the man in the boat. Yes, that person is none other than Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman from the 7 warlords of the sea. In his previous life, he had seen such a joke. The reason why Hawkeye chased the Krieg pirates all the way was because the people of the Krieg pirates saw the most embarrassing side of Hawkeye, the big sword and rowing boat, so he was chased all the way. He didn't know if the joke was true or not. But, at this time, he really saw Hawkeye rowing a boat with a machete. Next, will Hawkeye slash them with a machete? List was completely stunned for a moment. I'm a substitute, yes. In List's mind, their money pirates have now become the stand-ins for the Krieg pirates. Too good to die. At this time, the lookouts on several other pirate ships seemed to have discovered Eagle Eye's location. Everyone screamed in shock. Look, there's a boat ahead. There's a guy in the boat, and he's rowing with a knife. Such a small boat didn't sink under his control. This guy is so good at rowing. But how can he row a boat with a big knife? Doesn't he even have an oar? Can't afford it. Or, List's face turned completely dark when he heard what these people said. It's over. It's completely irreparable. Cheat. At this time, List can only summon his own cheat to check his attributes. Because he clearly knows that there may be a tough battle to fight next. Finance owner. List. Physique. 20. Spirit. 20. Golden index. 5. Cheat. Add 5 points to my spirit. Add points completed. Finance owner. List. Physique. 20. Spirit. 25. Deonjin index. 0. Although there are only 5 points left, at this time, if you can make yourself stronger, you can strengthen it by 1 point. As for why he added it to the spirit. Because, in his opinion, a strong spirit allows him to seize every opportunity more accurately. List came back from the enhancement before he could check Hawkeye's condition. Then I heard Zoro shouting excitedly, "Pull the boat over to me." Obviously, the shouts of the crowd also attracted his attention. When he recognized the man in the boat as Hawkeye, the whole person was so excited that it was hard to suppress. List's face turned darker for a moment when he heard Zoro's words. Okay, the entire money ship pirates group all have a right to die. He is a captain. It cannot be saved. At the same time, Eagle Eye also noticed the fleet heading this way, and faintly heard the discussion coming from the money pirates. Suddenly, the boat stopped rowing. Carrying the black knife, he walked to the front of the boat. Say nothing. With a direct strike, he struck at a large ship next to the Kyonchin, the old Kyonchin. Boom. In an instant, a cyan slashing wave suddenly appeared. Just split the old money number into 2. This sudden change shocked everyone in the money pirates. Hawkeye didn't stop there. Before everyone in the money pirates could react, he swung his sword towards the black gold next to the money. Overclocking mode. List had already responded to Zhao at this time. Even though he knew that he was probably no match for Hawkeye, he did not choose to watch the black gold being destroyed by Hawkeye. After entering overclocking mode, List directly pushed the speed to the limit. Whoosh! List flew towards the boat where Hawkeye was like a sharp arrow. Instantly appeared on Hawkeye's boat. The katana in his hand was slashing towards Hawkeye as fast as lightning. Hawkeye's eyes moved slightly, changing from slashing to blocking. There was a clang. An invisible air flow centered on the two people and spread rapidly. Hawkeye's black knife steadily blocked List's fatal blow. Mihawk, you shouldn't cut my ship, List said coldly. Hawkeye is powerful. However, he did not choose to be polite to Hawkeye because of his power. Butcher List. Recently, List's bounty has become quite popular around the world. Of course, Hawkeye has also seen his reward order. At this time, he recognized List at a glance. Please call me Godspeed List. Now that this is the case, List is still correcting Hawkeye's name. Whether you are good or bad is only temporary, whether you are handsome or not is a lifelong matter. If they were allowed to characterize the title, Butcher, then List felt that his life was ruined. Godly List, are you a user with the Kue fruit ability? Hawkeye looked at List with interest. Yes, I am the Kue who ate the Kue fruit. Speed is my characteristic. List stopped pretending and admitted directly. You are an interesting opponent who can help me kill some boring time. Hawkeye laughed. Withdraw the black knife and take the initiative to attack List. List did not choose to fight with Hawkeye. Even though his current physique has reached 20, it is still far behind Hawkeye. Also, Hawkeye and hockey. If you fight him head-on, he has no chance of winning. Whoosh! List disappeared in front of Hawkeye in an instant. Then it turned into a stream of light and stabbed from behind Hawkeye. Although List is extremely fast, how could he possibly be able to hide it from Hawkeye? Observation Hockey opens. List's figure was immediately invisible. The corner of Hawkeye's mouth curled up, and he swung the big black knife and struck at List. Clang! A circle of air waves quickly swayed out. List's entire body was directly chopped dozens of meters away. If he hadn't reacted quickly and used Moonwalk in time, the person would have fallen into the sea. Observation Hockey. Just now, List observed something from Hawkeye. That thing is intangible and insubstantial, but it really exists. He knew that it should be observation Hockey. This time, he wanted to observe it more clearly. List lowered to the water surface, stepped on the sea surface, and moved quickly around Hawkeye's boat. Whoosh whoosh, there were bursts of sharp sound breaking through the air. Obviously, after the body and spirit reach 20. List in overclocking mode. The speed has reached the speed of sound. So, the sea is at List's feet, just like the real thing. There is no way he would just fall into the sea while running. Sonic, Marine's bounty is a little low. Eagle Eye stands on the boat, remaining unchanged in response to all changes. Whoosh, in an instant, List shot towards Eagle Eye like a sharp arrow. Hawkeye's expression moved slightly and he took a step back. At the same time, a ray of light passed almost right against the tip of Hawkeye's nose. List stabbed the air with one strike, and chose to flee thousands of miles away without stopping for a long time. However, at this time, Hawkeye swung his big black knife at extremely fast speed and struck Lee C in the back. List's pupils shrank. Be aware of overclocking conditions. The speed of movement of all things will become extremely slow in his vision. However, at this moment, the knife shot by Eagle Eye was still so fast in his vision. List tried his best to dodge Hawkeye's attack with an extremely weird and not elegant posture. Quickly returned to the money number. When he looked at Hawkeye, his expression became as serious as the ultimate. And a hint of surprise flashed across Hawkeye's eyes at this time. He didn't expect that List would dodge his attack at that moment. It's interesting. The corner of Hawkeye's mouth curled up slightly, and he looked at List with a hint of admiration. I met the last Kue fruit user. He was indeed very fast, but he only moved fast. You are different. You seem to be not only fast in movement. The thinking reaction seems to be very fast. It seems that you have developed your Kue fruit ability quite well. Eagle Eye praised. Developing fruits requires using your brain, and I feel like I still have some ideas. List said lightly. Indeed. Hawkeye nodded. Then he pointed the knife at List and said, then, let's continue. Please try your best to please me. In this way, I may let you live. As you wish. List just finished speaking. He has appeared above Hawkeye's head, several meters away. Raise the knife with both hands and strike it down vigorously. Crescent moon clashes. Whoosh. In an instant, an auxiliary wave of about 10 meters shot out. Like falling stars. Strike at Hawkeye. Hawkeye watched List's attack without any expression. There are countless people in the Grand Line and New World who can unleash such an attack. For Hawkeye, who has seen big scenes. Not amazing. Hawkeye held the big black knife with both hands and swept it out at the incoming flying slash. Boom. Just one hit to tie, directly destroying List's crescent moon Chong. The slashing wave turned into a chaotic and violent flow, dissipating in the storm. You observe Hawkeye's slashing, which is ordinary, but with a touch of edge, as if it can cut off everything in the world. You have a deep enlightenment. You deeply feel the breathing of all things. You clearly understand the secret of cutting iron. I see. A flash of light flashed in List's eyes, and the figure swooshed. Disappeared instantly. Then he stabbed Hawkeye quickly from another angle. Unfortunately, Hawkeye's observation hockey always locked onto him. It diffused his attack very easily. Finally, he struck List with a backhand slash. It put List in a very awkward situation. At this time, List also realized that the tactics of the assassin style were useless against Hawkeye. Although Hawkeye's movement speed is not as fast as him. But the reaction speed is not slower than him at all. The eagle eye remains unchanged in response to all changes. No matter how hard List tried, he just couldn't hit him. Even Hawkeye will seize the opportunity to counterattack. Thinking of this, List decided to change his strategy. It didn't change at first. Just like before, List quickly rotated around Hawkeye. After finding an opportunity to attack, he quickly attacked Hawkeye. After Hawkeye blocked his attack, he no longer escaped thousands of miles in an instant like before, but instead accelerated a new round of attacks. The devil dances wildly. In an instant, List struck out hundreds or thousands of blows. At first, Hawkeye thought that List would escape thousands of miles away without missing a hit like before. Unexpectedly, List did the opposite this time. I was caught off guard for a moment. However, I'm afraid of this. Hawkeye still blocked all List's attacks. However, in the duel, he was still one step slower than List, and he felt like he was being suppressed by List. In response to this, Hawkeye not only did not become angry, but became even more energetic. List's offensive was completely spontaneous, there was no absolute routine, and it suited him perfectly. Hawkeye and List fought frantically at close quarters. The two of them exchanged blows like this for almost a minute. Click. The katana in List's hand eventually broke into two parts. As a result, List slashed into the air with a knife, and was slashed by Hawkeye. Poof. For a moment, a large amount of blood spurted out from List's body. It seems that you lack a good knife. Hawkeye did not pursue the victory, but stopped and looked at List in front of him and said lightly, "Wait for me a moment." List glanced at Hawkeye. "Hurry back to Chinhao quickly. Go get me a knife." List said solemnly. "Captain, use this sword." Chitong handed Xiaoyi Shiger to List and said, "Okay." List glanced at Chitong and took Xiaoyi Shiger unceremoniously. Koya Shiger is also a famous sword. Although it is not as good as Hawkeye's big black sword, it is difficult to cut it without Hawkeye using armament hockey. "Go, bring me some more meat." List glanced at the injuries on his body and said calmly. "Hi." Michelin quickly led a few people into the kitchen, and soon came out with several plates of cooked meat. List was not polite, he picked up a piece and started chewing it directly. Use Roku Immortal Thief and high-speed regeneration at the same time. List's injuries healed rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. List, you should take a rest first, and then I will be Hawkeye's opponent. At this time, Zoro said. You. List glanced at Zoro. You must have seen how strong Hawkeye is, right? Are you sure you want to go? Be sure, even if you fail, you have to go up. Only by experiencing his power personally can you know how to chase him. Zoro said solemnly. Then go ahead. List said nonchalantly. He knew that Zoro's target was the world's best swordsman. He also went to sea to defeat Hawkeye. Now, it's not easy to meet Eagle Eye. He was already ready to make a move. If List doesn't let him go, he will probably feel resentful about this. In this case, there is no need for List to be the villain. It just so happened that he could also take this opportunity to replenish some energy. Okay. After responding, Zoro was suddenly stumped by another question. How should he get there? This is not East Blue. Not like in the original work either. It has the broken ship planks of the Krieg pirates, providing them with a place to fight. It can be said that the wind is strong, the waves are strong, and the rain is heavy. The only one that could potentially be used as a combat semi-platform was the old money that had just been split open by Hawkeye. However, it is a pity that the old money has long been swallowed by huge waves and plunged deep into the seabed. If he paddled a small sampan over to challenge Eagle Eye, even if he wasn't hit by the big waves, he still wouldn't be able to use it on Eagle Eye's boat. After all, even just now, List and Hawkeye were fighting. Hawkeye rarely moves. List was walking almost the entire time. What's wrong? List glanced at Zoro and asked in confusion. Hawkeye's ship seems to be too small. Even when I went there, it seemed like I couldn't move it. Zoro said with some embarrassment. Then he made a very outrageous suggestion. Why don't we just let Hawkeye board the ship? The plate armor of our new money is so big that it's enough for me and Hawkeye to fight. Don't even think about it. This guy just cut off my old money account. Do you want my new money account to follow in the footsteps of the old money account? List directly rejected Zoro's proposal without thinking. Hearing this, Zoro directly. However, at this moment, a voice sounded in everyone's ears. Sorry, I'm already here. But Eagle Eye suddenly appeared on the new money at some point. Hawkeye. Everyone on the new money drew their swords and became alert. Only Zoro grinned. Hawkeye came here by himself, not by his invitation. Now, even if the new money account is disabled, List can't blame him. With a snap, Zoro instantly tied a turban on himself and pulled out 3 knives. Hawkeye, next, I will be your opponent. Zoro bit his sword and said. Who are you? The eagle-like eyes glanced at Zoro and asked coldly. Roranoa Zoro, I've been looking for you for a long time, Hawkeye. Zoro said. Roranoa Zoro, it turns out to be you, the pirate hunter with 20 million gold. Zoro is now also a somewhat famous figure. Hawkeye has seen List's bounty order, and naturally he has also seen Zoro's. Before, Zoro didn't mention it, so he didn't think of it for a while, but now that Zoro had reported his name, he naturally remembered it. You said you've been looking for me for a long time. Why? Because, my dream is to become the world's best swordsman, and you are the person I must defeat, so I went to sea just to find you. Zoro said solemnly. That's it. Hawkeye gave Zoro a deep look. Well, I have a question for you. What's the problem? Zoro asked. Have you ever defeated the speedy List? Hawkeye said. List just said that he mentioned not to call him a butcher. In the short battle just now, List won his respect. So instead of calling List the butcher, he directly called List the god of speed. Not yet, Zoro said, shaking his head. He is also one of the targets I want to defeat. The world's number 1 is still too far away from you. Wait until you defeat the speedy List and challenge me again. Hawkeye shook his head and rejected Zoro's challenge. I still want to see the strength of the world's number 1. Zoro said unmoved. Hawkeye glanced at Zoro. The consequences of arbitrary entanglement will be serious. I just want a fight now. Zoro said again. Okay, I accept your challenge, but if you die, don't blame me. Hawkeye glanced at List who was eating like crazy and felt that he still needed some time. So, I agreed to Zoro's challenge. Everyone on the money retreated to the edge of the deck. Hawkeye and Zoro stand facing each other. Aren't you going to draw the sword? Zoro saw that Hawkeye had no intention of drawing the sword, and a flash of displeasure flashed in his eyes. Knife. Eagle Eye heard. After thinking for a while, he took out the knife hanging around his neck that he usually used to cut fruits. Are you looking down on me? A flash of anger flashed in Zoro's eyes. But in my opinion, this knife is enough. Eagle Eye said lightly. In that case, you're welcome. Although Zoro was angry. However, he did not insist again and again to let Hawkeye draw the sword. Since words are powerless, let's use strength and let Hawkeye draw his sword. Silent Shunpo. In an instant, Zoro moved. Appearing in front of Hawkeye as if teleporting, he quickly swung out 3 knives. Hawkeye looked at this scene and his eyes lit up slightly. Although not as good as List, it still has something. Thinking about it, the fruit knife in Hawkeye's hand was as fast as lightning, and he stabbed forward. The moment Zoro's 3 swords met, they hit the blade of the outermost sword. Stop Zoro from taking another step forward. What about Na? Zoro was startled. He didn't expect that Hawkeye was able to crack his attack so easily. When he was about to take back his katana and retreat in order to advance, the fruit knife in Hawkeye's hand hit his chest as fast as lightning. Puff. Blood quickly spurted out of Zoro's chest. With the knife I just made, I left you a way to retreat. Why don't you retreat? Hawkeye looked at Zoro in surprise. I don't know. It's just that at that moment, I felt that if I retreated, I would lose a lot of things. Zoro said solemnly. Really? Hawkeye's eyes lit up. I feel like Zoro can be made. Or maybe he's not as talented as List. But, he is definitely a pure warrior. Courage, honor, pride, and honesty can all be seen in Zoro. Very high purity. Roronoa Zoro, you are a good warrior. Using this knife against you is indeed a bit humiliating. If this is the case, then I will try my best next time. Be careful not to die. Hawkeye put away the fruit knife, pulled out the big black knife from behind, and said to Zoro. What I wish for. Zoro's eyes lit up. Then he stepped on the silent Shunpo again to kill Hawkeye. Hawkeye didn't kill Zoro directly. Instead, he kept fighting with Zoro. The two of them fought faster and faster. As time went by, Zoro gradually became unable to keep up with Hawkeye, and was eventually slashed in the chest by Hawkeye. PFF'd. Blood spurted out of Zoro like crazy. I lost. Zoro glanced at the wound on his chest, then glanced at Hawkeye, and said with conviction. He held on for a while and finally fell down. Roronoa Zoro, as I said just now, you are number 1 in the world. For you now, it is too early to say. Try to defeat the Speedy List first. After you defeat him, I will be waiting for you on the throne of number 1 in the world. Hawkeye said, I won't let you wait too long for that day. Zoro lay on the deck and responded to Hawkeye with an extremely firm tone. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.